All right, so we give praise and esteem and honor to Abba and Shamaim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you, the Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, all esteem and praise to Abba and Shamaim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Shalom, Sister Gwen. Peace, oh my man. Come on, Sister. Revelation 5 and 1,
man. And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong Malachim proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof.
Shalom, man.
And no man in Shamaim, nor on earth, nor under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much because no man was found worthy to open the book and to read the book, and to look, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehuda, the root of David, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 ruachs of Elohim, sent forth into all the earth. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. When he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps, and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. They sung a new song, saying, you are worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For you were slain and have redeemed us, Elohim, by your blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation.
Indeed.
And have made us unto our Elohim kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
That's good, man. Zechariah 4 and 1, man.
And the Malachim that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is waking out of his sleep, and said unto me, what see you? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and the 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. So I answered and spake to the Malachim that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the Malachim that talked with me answered and said unto me, know you not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of God unto Zerubbabel, saying,
what he said?
Not by might, nor by power, but by my ruach, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Who are you, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel you shall become plain. You shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shoutings, crying, grace, grace unto it. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hand shall also finish it. You shall know that Yahuwah of hosts hath sent me unto you. For he hath despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of Yahuwah, which run to and fro throughout the whole earth. Then answered I and said unto him, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches wherein through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, know you not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then said he, these are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth.
Indeed. That's what I want you to do for me real fast, man. Dang, I just had it in my brain and forgot that fast. Okay, where is it at? Look what that was with them 7 eyes. What verse that was, man? Oh, verse 10. Zechariah 4 and 10. Shalom, Sister Regina. Read that again.
Say, for who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of Yahuwah, which run to and fro through the whole earth.
They do what now?
Run to and fro through the whole earth.
Read me Zechariah 3 and 8.
Hear now, O Yahushua the high priest, you and your fellows that sit before you. For they are men wondered at. For behold, I'll bring forth my servant, the branch. For behold, the stone that I lay before Yahushua upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I'll engrave the graving thereof, saith Yahuwah of hosts, and I'll remove the iniquity of that land in one day.
And one day, it's going to be how many eyes, sir?
7.
This is what I need you to do. Give me 2 Chronicles 16 and 5, man.
And it came to pass, when Baasha heard it, that he left off building of Ramah and left his works and let his work cease. Then Asa the king took all Yehuda, and they carried away the stones of Ramah and the timber thereof, wherewith Baasha was building, and he built therewith Geba and Mizpah. And at that time Hananiah the seer came to Asa king of Yehuda and said unto him, because you have relied on the king of Syria, not relied on Yahuwah your Elohim.
And not relied on who?
Yahuwah your Elohim.
Why? What's going to happen?
Therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of your hand.
Go ahead.
Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because you did rely on Yahuwah, he delivered them into your hand.
That's right.
For the eyes of Yahuwah run to and fro.
They do what now?
Run to and fro.
They do what now?
Run to and fro.
Peace, Brother Joseph.
Throughout the whole earth.
They do what?
Show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him.
He said what run? Read it again. Read verse 9 again, man.
Say, for the eyes of Yahuwah run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect.
Now go back to Zechariah 4 and 10, man. Say the eyes of Yahuwah run to and fro throughout the whole earth.
For who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. There are the eyes of Yahuwah which run to and fro through the whole earth. I
want you to give them the definition of eyes, man. I know y'all know the word, man. It's all great.
Ayin, that's eye.
Go ahead.
You got the physical eye, or you got to show them mental qualities of mental and spiritual faculties.
Spiritual faculties. Read them Isaiah 11 and 1.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. The rock of Yahuwah shall rest upon him, the rock of wisdom and understanding, the rock of counsel and might, the rock of knowledge and of the fear of Yahuwah. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yahuwah. He shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. He shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
Now, of course, we didn't talk about these 7 spirits, right? Now, I want you to pause and I want you to consider. As we look at verse 10, he said, who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice. So what I need you to do is give him the definition of small things from Zechariah 4 and 10. Now, I think we've almost exhausted everything we can exhaust. We're looking at Moses and Elijah as forth as the comparison of what you see in 2 witnesses. But because Revelation 5 is dealing with the seals, we got to deal with everything that pertains to that. I think we read some of those things. Yeah. That's one of the definitions for IE, man. It's your spiritual faculties. Let's see if we can get a common definition to see if we give you the Hebrew word for small things.
Small is katon, small, insignificant, young, unimportant. And things is the same thing, katon.
So listen, what do you take from here in katon? Small, unimportant. He said they have despised the day of him that is young and unimportant. What can we take from that? Is there anything that you able to come up with as it pertains to that? Also, what is this? Oh, it's just a number of the beast. That's pretty much all it is, man. It ain't really nothing. It's really to let you know that the beast is a man, and more so than anything. While y'all ponder on that, get that going, man. I think that's Revelation 13 and 15. Now they don't have a strict definition of. They have the 5 spiritual faculties, but that's a Buddhist concept. So we're not gonna deal with that.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, saying that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Number of his name.
And say, here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the
So
number of the
here's skill. He say count the what of the beast?
The number of the beast, for it is the number of a man.
It's a number of a who?
Of a man.
Of a who?
Of a man. And his number is 636.
Now, you know, people come up with a lot of things to, you know, figure that out. You know, we not finna, shalom, we not finna travel down that road. You know what I'm talking about? But what we can do is this. We can go right back to Daniel 11 and 31, and it lets you know that this is a man. Plus, the beginning of that chapter lets you know that this beast with 7 heads and 10 horns and none of that, this is a man because he's killed but raises again. Yeah, it's just to let you know that you see that that's a number of a man. It's an identifying marker of a man. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people attribute the number 7 to God, but word-wise, he never attributes that to himself. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless.
For the ships of Chittim shall come against him, therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the Kadash covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with them that forsake the Kadash covenant. And arms shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength.
That's right.
Shall take away the daily sacrifice. They shall place the abomination that make desolate.
That's right.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flattery.
Indeed.
But the people that do know their Elohim shall be strong and do.
And that pause. Now, when you come down to verse 37, this is another further insight into seeing that this is a man.
Neither shall he regard the Elohim of his fathers, nor the desire of woman, nor regard any God.
He won't desire the God of his who?
Of his fathers.
See, that which is a God don't have fathers. You know what I'm talking about? To even have a God of his fathers. But yeah. So when you look at what does this mean when they say, for they who have despised the day of the small things, for they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. Give him the definition of plummet. Because I wanted you to take it in regard to chapter 3, because I mentioned chapter 3 the first time we read this. Because we could interlope the mystery of iniquity, but shoot, that's a topic of all unto himself. I didn't get a chance. A brother left a comment on Wednesday when the trap was open, and I didn't get a chance to respond to it. If you didn't know, like, I don't get on this channel except when the trap house opens, so I don't see comments. I'm not logged into that channel on the YouTube on my phone. The YouTube on my phone is my YouTube, and ain't no videos on it because it's not for that. It's for viewing purposes. So I don't see comments that anybody leaves until Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday afternoon or feast day. Other than that, I ain't gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? So a brother left a statement of false knowledge is, I think he said, worse than ignorance. Now, of course, there's no need to like jump off the top rope because I don't understand the perspective of what he asking. I'm going to mention this here because, you know, what we were discussing Wednesday was in regards of Satan knowing the word. And he does bring false knowledge in it, but this is the key thing to be able to determine. See, ignorance is one thing, because like it says in Matthew, you know, if you don't understand what you believe and you don't know, then he can snatch away what's sown in your heart anyway. You know what I'm talking about? See, then you got those who are going to worship in vain because their worship is going to be after the doctrines and commandments of men. You know what I'm talking about? And that's a whole nother deal that ain't got nothing to do with him. You know what I'm talking about? And then you got what Satan will aim to do in the latter time, which of course he's doing through people now, which is disseminating false information. But the dissemination of his false information is closely looking like that which is right. But the key component to be able to make the determination, this is just in case anything got misunderstood, you know, but the key determination of being able to tell the difference between his information and information that come from God is that there'll be wisdom and understanding from information that come from God. Then, of course, it says he has understanding of dark sentences. Having understanding of something doesn't mean you can disseminate understanding. So that means he has enough understanding to deceive you of what these parables are talking about. But remember what we read in Isaiah 8 and 20. It said they don't speak according to the law and to the testimony. And that word testimony went prophetic testimony. We know the testimony of Yahushua is the ruach of prophecy. Then he said if they don't speak according to this word, they have no shakar in them. See, the word that you see for light, the majority of the time is going to be ore, which literally means light. But when you put shakar there for light, it said they won't. That means the day dawn. You know what I'm talking about? So, of course, that's when we read no scriptures of any private interpretation. That's what Peter said. And he says, until that day star arise in your heart, or the day dawn, or what people would commonly refer to as Lucifer. Like somebody said that to me the other day, like, bro, we don't believe Lucifer is the devil. If you do, that's your business. You know what I'm talking about? But we've done enough dissemination through the word to know that that's just not the case. See, I know that rattled people because you've heard people repeat it over and over and over and over and over again, but you never closely examined it. We just went along with it. Now, again, I wasn't never in no word. You know what I'm saying? In my youth, he said, like you mentioned once, I was the thing about the beast is false prophets came after. Now we know John the Baptist came first. Yeah, just like you say, man, the law and the prophets was until John. Now the kingdom of heaven is preached. Everybody's pressed into it. So, you know, when you look at somebody who has the understanding of dark sentences, see, this is where the John 7 come into play at. Because he's got these understanding of dark sentences, but he's going to make these sentences be about him. What did Yahushua tell you? Read it for him, Savior. John 7:14. These be the nuanced things you have to pay attention to. Because he's going to get up there and say he God. Hey, that's what it say. So that means he's telling you that he's supposed to sit and rule like Yahushua supposed to rule. But this is what you're supposed to pay attention to. Because what we read in Daniel, he's going to exalt himself above every God, magnify himself in his heart. But look at what the Lord said.
So now about the midst of the feast, Yahushua went up into the temple and taught, and the Yahudim marveled, saying, how know this man letters, having never learned? Yahushua answered them and said, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me.
My doctrine is not what?
Is not mine,
but
his that sent me.
And
if any man will do his will, he shall know the doctrine,
slow, brother.
Whether it be of Elohim or whether I speak.
So if you do his will, you're going to know where the teaching come from.
Say, he that speak of himself seek his own esteem.
He that speak of himself seek his what?
His own esteem.
That's where you get where you catch the beast at. He gonna be speaking of himself, seeking his own esteem for what the Lord told him.
But he that seek his esteem that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him.
See, the beast won't be seeking that's another thing, the difference between what Satan teach and what would be of God is that Satan will never esteem Yahuwah. He will never esteem your Abba in heaven. His objective is to esteem himself. How do we know this? Luke chapter 4, verse 1. That's what I mean by you have to pay attention to the small things to be able to peep the play. You know what I'm saying? To not be lame to the game.
Yahushua, being full of the Ruach HaKodesh, returned from Jordan and was led by the Ruach into the wilderness. Being 40 days tempted of the devil, and in those days he did eat nothing. And when they were ended, he afterward hungered. The devil said unto him, if you be the son of Elohim, command this stone that it be made bread. Yahushua answered him, saying, it is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of Elohim. And the devil taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. The devil said unto him, all this power will I give you in the esteem of them, for that is delivered unto me. To whomsoever I will, I give it. If you therefore will worship me, all shall be yours.
If you would do what?
Worship me.
If you do what?
Worship me.
If you do what?
Worship me.
All this will be what?
Yours.
See, he trying to bring esteem to himself. You know what I'm talking about? That's how you peep the play. If that information is of God, that's one thing that Satan is never going to do. He's never going to esteem your Abba and Shamahim. He's going to esteem himself. He's going to lift up himself. So when you come back to Zechariah 4 and 10, who have despised the day of the small things, for they shall rejoice. What does this take us back to? Isaiah 53 and 1. This is what it take us back
to. Who have believed our report, to whom is the arm of Yahuwah revealed. He shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He have no form nor comeliness, and we shall see him. There is no beauty that we should desire him.
Go ahead.
He is despised and
He is
rejected.
what?
He is despised and rejected from men, a man of sorrows.
Now remember when it said there's no what in him that we should desire him? No honor, no esteem. We see him as insignificant. You know what I'm talking about? So therefore they despise him and they shall rejoice. But then he says, and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7, which are the eyes of Yahuwah. Tell them what a plummet is, man.
You got 2 words. One, the first word is a ben.
That's the stone. A ben is your word for stone.
And then Badil is alloy, tin, or dross, or metaphorically of Yasharol.
The stone of Israel. So think what I can say, right? You shall rejoice and see the stone of Israel in the hand of Zerubbabel. Now, of course, you also got a plumb line. Now, a plummet is something that is a no, that's not it. That's not it. That's something for fishing. We don't want that. I gotta put tool on that. This is a fool thing because I can see it in my brain because I know carpenters use that hoe all the time. I don't use that hoe. There it is. Well, it's the same thing that doggone what you call it for fishing. Now that I think about it, that junk do have that doggone weight on it. You know, that's a weight usually with a pointed tip on the bottom, suspended from a string, or a reference line, or a plumb line. You know what I'm saying? Damn sure is. You know what I'm saying? You know how you be seeing them when they be putting up the cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they use that plummet. After they use that doggone what's happening, Rohan? Use the leveler. You know the little thing right there, man. You know what I'm saying? That's it, Rohan, to mark the center. That's what they use right after they use that leveler. You know what I'm talking about? So that plummet is for the stone. You know what I'm talking about? Because he's letting you know this is a plummet for the stone. Now, in the beginning of talking in this last week, we talked about how he the chief cornerstone. You know what I'm talking about? And the stone that the builders have rejected. So he's letting it be known you're going to see the stone in the hand of Zerubbabel. So we're going to take it, because we talk about his testimony anyway. We're going to take it a step further. Go to Genesis 49, verse 22. Kind of like the bean with the bubble. Yeah. That's what I was referring to, the leveler. Yep, the little thing with the little yellow plastic thing, and then they got the bubbles in the middle. Yeah. They usually bring that plummet line right after they set the leveler, because they use the plummet line after they done seen where they gotta use it at. We don't use levelers too tough because I don't do stuff like that. I think the main time we use the leveler is that one time we put that fence up. You know what I'm saying? I hold leaning now. But now we put that fence up about 5 years ago. So, you know, over time, and then the people had dogs. You know what I'm talking about? And plus, it was my first time doing it. I ain't did one since. That damn fence busted out the window of that truck, too. Was that 5 years? That wasn't 5 years ago. That was about 3, 4. It just seemed that long. But it was probably about 2022. Maybe been 2021, because it was a Tacoma that had a doggone window bust out. It was I forgot what bust out the that what it was. Sliding some all gone junk on the back, and that junk slid in the corner of that hole. Tap that hole. Go ahead, man.
You said verse 22?
Yeah.
Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty Elohim of Jacob.
What up?
From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Yasharol.
Oh, this is the shepherd, the stone of who?
Yasharol.
Give them the characters for stone for a bit. You know what's funny, man? They be messing with me because I be saying ho, but they don't be realizing. They be like, how you know that lady a hoe? Because while I ride, man, doggone Indian lady gonna jump out. No, she ran the stop sign in Publix, man, rolling through. I'm like, damn, ho, I got my baby in the car. What's wrong with you, man? You know what I'm saying? They were like, how you know that lady is a hoe? See, they don't understand. Let me tell y'all something for those of y'all who not from Florida. Hoe is a noun here. You know, a noun is a person, place, or thing. So what do I mean by that? Okay, it's been cold out here, right? So somebody who from here might step outside and be like, boy, it's cold out this hoe. But clearly there's no whore outside. You know what I'm talking about? Case another point. Somebody could be riding through in a clean bubble Chevy. You know what I'm saying? Nice rims on it. He gonna be like, boy, that whole clean, boy. But that's not a whore. You know what I'm saying? Now we just used this here because that word was used to in regards to a thing or outside with the weather. You know what I'm saying? That's just how people here talk. You know what I'm talking about? It's really not disrespectful, if you would, unless they're intentionally trying to be disrespectful.
You got Olive, Bot, and Noon.
So you got Olive, Bot, and Noon for a bid. What would you come up with Olive, Bot, and Noon? What you got going on, son? Who book you got? What you got, boy? That top ain't on that good, Joanne. Go ahead. That's those when you'll be like, why you say ho so much? That's just how we talk. It's not unless I'm really talking about, yeah, you dumb ho. And then even then, it's not that you're a whore, it just means you're a stupid idiot. You know what I'm saying? As Chris Jericho would say, or an imbecile, or a simpleton, or a retard, or an ingrate. Continue. Joanne.
The strength of the sun is in the sea.
So they say the strength of the sun is in the sea. You got Olive, Bot, and Noon. Did you ask for that, or did you just grab it? No, give it here. She done put her mouth on it. You know, ain't nobody else. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You better eat that now. Anybody got anything for the Olive, Bot, and Noon? You know what I'm saying? Of course, you got with Bot, you got the house, you know, daughter, family. You know, Olive, you got your ox, you got your strength, you got the leader, the sun, you know, Noon, you got your seed. No, you can look at the life is in the leader of the house, if you would. Now, the only reason why I'm using this particular combination is in regard to what we're talking about. Who have despised the day of small things. Well, we know in John 11:45, they were ready for him to die. They despised him. You know what I'm talking about? They found him to be insignificant and unimportant. That's why we read that verse in Isaiah 53. You can give him John 15 and 8 on general principle.
For herein is my Father esteemed, that you bear much fruit, so shall you be my disciples. Mm-hmm. As the Abba have loved me, so have I loved you. Continue you in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love have no man than this.
That a man
laid out his life for his friends.
What else?
You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you.
And
henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant know not what his Lord do, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Abba, I have made known unto you.
I told you.
You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit.
Pause. Now, see, this goes back to what we read in verse 8 when he said, "Hear now, O Yahushua the high priest, you and your fellows that sit before you, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant the branch." Now, notice he said these are men who are wondered at. Now, what did you just read, Sippy?
You have not chosen me, but I've chosen you and ordained you. That you should go and bring forth fruit.
Now, listen, I'm going to tie this into something in 2 Corinthians in just a moment. Go ahead.
It's saying that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Abba in my name, he may give it. These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you.
The world hates you.
Remember the word that I said unto you,
What you said?
Servant is not greater than his Lord.
Servant's not greater than his
If they have
Lord.
persecuted me, they will also persecute you.
If they persecuted me, they'll do what?
Persecute you.
What else?
If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me.
Pause. Now go to 2 Corinthians 11 and 16. And you see this instance. He said, you, O Yahushua high priest, you are a man who was wondered at. Well, that the branch will come forth. He say before you, and they are men. He say you and your fellows that sit before you are men who will be wondered at. And I'll give you the definition of wonder real quick. Go ahead, Sabo.
I say again, let no man think me a fool, if otherwise yet as a fool receive me, that I may boast myself a little. That which I speak it not after the Lord, but as it were foolishly, in this confidence of boasting.
Pause. Now, when we look at wondered, it's more faith. Mean, pay, and tau. It's a wonder, a sign, a miracle, a portent, a wonder, a special display of Elohim's power, a sign, a token, a sign or a wonder. Go ahead.
Seeing that many esteem after the flesh, I will esteem also. For you suffer fools gladly, seeing you yourselves are wise. For you suffer if a man bring you into bondage, if a man devour you, if a man take of you, if a man exalt himself, if a man smite you on the face. I speak as concerning reproach, as though we had been weak. Howbeit, whereinsoever any is bold, I speak foolishly, I am bold also. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Hamashiach? I speak as a fool. I am more, and labors more abundant, and stripes above measure, and prisons more frequent, and deaths often. But the Yahudim 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one. Thrice was I beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep. In journeyings often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness and watchings, often in hunger and thirst.
Now we're reading this here because if you would read wonder in English, you would tie this to all this suffering that this man say he going through. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead.
And fastings often in cold and nakedness, beside those things that are without that which come upon me daily, the care of all the assemblies. Who is weak, and I am not weak? Who is offended, and I burn not? If I must needs esteem, I will esteem the things which concern my infirmities. The Elohim and Abba of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach.
Because that would be showing forth that the power of God is with him, correct? According to what we read, where you say, my strength is made perfect in weakness. But looking at more faith, knowing that it means a sign, a wonder, a token, a miraculous. Let me read the definition for y'all one more time. That's what I need you to do, sir. I need you to go back to Isaiah 8 and 16. All right, Joanne. Wonder, sign, miracle, wonder, sign, token. Go ahead. 8 and 16. Because we read this the other day.
Say, bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples, and I will wait upon Yahuwah that hide his face from the house of Jacob. And
what do you say?
For him. Behold, I and the children whom Yahuwah have
are for what?
For signs and for wonders in Yahshua.
They're for signs and what?
And for wonders in
Go on, tell them what wonders is right now, man.
Same word.
Both faith. They're for signs and wonders. Now, why is this important? Because that's what we're going to take this to the apostles. But this is why you'll see what you see with the two witnesses. You know what I'm talking about? Because they for a sign and a wonder. Now I go to Mark, pardon me, 16 and 13.
And they went and told it unto the residue, neither believed they them. Afterward he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat, and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart. Because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen.
Oh man! And
he said unto them,
what he said?
Go you into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believe and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believe not shall be damned.
Go ahead.
And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils.
Cast out who?
Devils.
What else?
They shall speak with new tongues.
What else?
They shall take up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. So then after the Lord had spoken unto them, he was received up in Shamayim.
Now go to Luke 24 and 45. Because I know you see the passages about, them doing signs and wonders. And a lot of people feel like, okay, why ain't nobody doing no miracles now? This is what, and this take it back to that conversation we had when dudes say, oh, you should be able to speak in tongues if you don't speak in tongues. you don't have the spirit. But remember, he's speaking explicitly to these men when he makes this statement. And that's why the Isaiah said, what? These are the children that you who have given me. They are for signs and they are for wonders. You know what I'm talking about? And then, of course, it says here in Zechariah, Yahushua the high priest, you and your fellows that sit before you, for they are signs, they're wonders. And behold, then I'll bring forth my servant the branch. Continue.
Say, then open he their understanding. That
This is Luke 24 and 45. Stop before you fall.
That they might understand the scriptures. And said unto them, thus it is written, and thus it behooved the Mashiach to suffer, and to rise from the dead the third day. And that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name.
Stop.
Among all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. And you are witnesses of these things. And behold, I send the promise of my Abba upon you, but tarry you in the city of Jerusalem until you be endued with power from on high.
Until you be endued with what?
Power from on high.
Go ahead.
And he led them out as far as to Bethany, and he lifted up his hands and baruched them. And it came to pass, while he baruched them, he was parted from them and carried up in the Shamaim. And they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy. And were continually in the temple praising and baruching Elohim. Amen.
Go to Acts chapter 4, man, verse 8. And then we go to Revelation 11. Hey, chill out. Chill out.
Then Peter, filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, said unto them, you rulers of the people and elders of the Yasharal, if we this day be examined of the good deed done to the impotent man, by what means he is made whole, be it known unto you all and to all the people of Yasharal, that by the name of Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth, whom you crucified, whom Elohim raised from the dead, even by him do this man stand here before you whole.
Go ahead.
This is the stone which was set at naught of the builders, which has become the head of the corner.
Head of the corner.
Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under Shamim given among men, whereby we must be saved. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled, and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Yahushua.
What verse you in?
I just read verse 13.
Now drop down to verse 26.
So the kings of the earth stood up, and the rulers were gathered together against the Lord and against his Hamashiach. For of a truth against the Kadash child Yahushua, whom you have anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate with the Gentiles and the people of Yasharal were gathered together, for to do whatsoever your hand and your counsel determined before to be done. And now, Lord, behold their threatenings, and grant unto your servants that with all boldness they may speak your word, by stretching forth your hand to heal, that signs and wonders may be done by the name of the Kadash child Yahushua.
Now, you know, another, I think it's in Acts 5, it might be one. It says signs and wonders follow them wherever they went. Now, I'm reading this here because this is no totality to get you to Revelation 11 with these two witnesses. And I mentioned this. And also because of the 7 eyes. Now, I want you to go back to Zechariah 3 and 8 and listen to what it said, because some of the same verbiage that's in chapter 4 was in 3 and 9. But he's going to start at verse 8, Zechariah 3.
Say, hear now, Yahushua the high priest, you and your fellows that sit before you, for they are men wondered at. For behold,
so now we know the men, Yahushua and his fellows, they are men who are signs, miraculous things are following them. We don't read in the text per se that miraculous things followed Yahushua, son of Jehozadak, and the men that were with him. You know what I'm talking about? Let's continue though.
You say, for behold, I will bring forth my servant, the branch. The
branch. We know there's many other spots in Jeremiah, another spot in Zechariah 6, where he mentions the branch. Tell him what the branch is, man. Yeah, Zechariah 6 and 12, it tell you that the branch is the one that will grow up and build the temple. And he'll build the temple of Yahuwah and bear the esteem and sit and rule on the throne. And he'll be a priest and king on this throne. Yahushua, son of Jehozadak, was neither of those.
This is Samak. You got sprout, growth, branch, or the shoot of Messiah from the Davidic tree.
So when you say there's this branch, what is this taking us back to? Psalms 132. All the places that refer to David having a seed to sit on the throne. You know what I'm talking about? But let's continue.
It said, for behold, this stone that I have laid before Yahushua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes.
Upon what stone? How many stones?
Upon one stone.
It'll have 7 what?
Eyes.
Now we've referenced those eyes go to and fro throughout the whole earth to show strong on behalf of those whose heart is perfect towards Yahuwah. That's what it said, right? And then in Zechariah 4, it said the hand of Zerubbabel, oh, they despised the day of the small things, and they have rejoiced, and they saw the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel, or the tool on the stone that was in the hand of he that is in Babylon, if my memory serves me correctly. And he say those 7 are those that run to and fro throughout the whole earth. You know what I'm talking about? Now, when we take into account, especially when you're talking about the stuff that's going down at the end, which we already read, how many angels was going to and fro throughout the whole earth?
7.
How many seals was it to unseal?
7.
Now it says right here, he said, read verse 9 again.
For behold, the stone that I've laid before Yahushua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold,
and he said that he'll do what with it?
I will engrave the graving thereof.
And he gonna do what?
I'll remove the iniquity of that land in one day.
He'll remove the iniquity in that land in what?
In one day.
Now just keep that in mind. And one day, the iniquity of that entire land will be removed. Now this is the question that I would ask you. What passage in the prophets, in the Tanakh, if you would, if that's what you desire to refer to it as, would you point to of seeing the iniquity in the land being removed in one day? Now you have multiple ways how you can come to this conclusion, so it's up to you which one you choose. If you so choose to take this mission. Does anybody choose to take this mission? Civic, you choose to take this mission?
I ain't got nothing.
You gonna choose to take this mission, son? You don't even know what a mission is, boy. The Day of Atonement? No, man. What verse in 2 Samuel 21? You boo boo? Your what? I don't know. Stop.
Stop. No, no.
Why would you do that? Stop. I'm not playing with either one of you.
Mama, that's wrong.
Yeah, leave that alone.
That.
What verse in 2 Samuel 21? Because that's broad.
Papa.
Yes.
Papa.
Numbers 25. What verse in Numbers 25? Because that's broad.
Verse 3 through 6.
Go ahead and see what it says. 2 Samuel 21:3. No, that's Cinderella.
Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites,
Stop.
what shall I do for you? Wherewith shall I make the atonement that you may bereave the inheritance of Yahuwah?
Oh, no. That's not going. He said he going to take the iniquity out the land. And that one there, you got a plague. See, come back it up. So give him the definition of iniquity. Hey, cut it out. Give him the definition of iniquity. Now, remember, we were talking about the mystery of iniquity, right? Which is the word for iniquity, depravity, the punishment of iniquity, the guilt of iniquity. That's in 2 Samuel, you got the guilt for Saul's house. But he said he's going to take the iniquity out the land in one day. Matter of fact, go over there, see if give him remove the iniquity in the land in one day. Just give him the whole sentence.
Mm-hmm. God, remove his moose to the part removed, to be removed.
To be removed. No, not the day is forth as 1,000 years. Not in this instance.
Mm-hmm. God, land is a rat.
Stop. What? Sit still.
That's land or earth.
You say Genesis 7 with the flood? No.
And then one is a cow. One number.
Yeah, so no, it's not that one. You got to look at the context of everything that's coming before it. Remember, when these questions are asked, you got to take into context of the verses that we read in before it. You know what I'm saying? So we look at the context of the verse you're reading before. You got verse, matter of fact, truth be told, and we didn't even read those. If you read in the beginning of this chapter, what's going on? Yahushua is clothed with filthy garments. He said, I'm going to take these filthy garments from off of you, and I'm going to put on you clean garments while Satan is trying to oppose him. You know what I'm talking about? And he said, Yahuwah rebuke you, Hashatan. Then as you fall down, he said, if you walk in my ways, you'll keep my charge. You'll also judge my house and keep my courts. Then he tells him that you and your fellows that are before you are signs and wonders. And that then I'm going to bring forth my servant, the branch. And then I've laid before Yahushua upon one stone the 7 eyes, which is the 7 ruachs that's going throughout the whole earth. And I'll engrave the engraving. Give him engraved by definition, saith Yahuwah of hosts. And then I will remove the iniquity of the land in one day.
To engrave is to open, to be open, to be let loose.
Mm.
And engraving is an inscription.
So he's going to inscribe the scribing. Give him graving just in case. So that's what you got to look at. Always you have to look at the context of the verse of the passages that you read.
Yeah, that was great. That is pt5. That is engraving or carving. And then engraved was to be let loose or to open. That's the thought.
So you got an engraving or a carving. See, truth be told, verse 8 should have gave you insight to removing the iniquity in one day, what passage you would use. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you out, Sibo. Now you ain't going to need Exodus 14 either, because that didn't remove the iniquity from the land. See, what you got in Exodus 14 is you got him killing the Egyptians, but that's not removing the iniquity of the land. Because truth be told, when you hear to remove the iniquity of the land, our mind should automatically go to the land of Yasharal, because that's what he's referring to in this instance. You know what I'm saying? We look at Genesis 7 with the flood. That's punishing the people. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mother Sharona mentioned atonement, which is not wrong in and of itself. Stanley's looking at it in the aspect of the atonement for what Saul did to the Gibeonites because they had a plague on them. You know what I'm saying? But that was something as it pertains to Saul's house. But we're looking at the iniquity in the land. What's going, as Emma mentioned, the atonement, what's going to cover that up? Now, there's passages that refer to this, but it's not going to use the verbiage atonement. And here's the first one. Isaiah 4:1. Get off of him like that. Verse 1 is not the one that's going to refer to it.
And in that day shall
be by verse 3.
In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful and esteemed, and the fruit of the wrath shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Yasharal. It shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, he that remain in Jerusalem.
He that's left in what? Zion. And what else?
Remain in Jerusalem.
What he gonna do?
Shall be called Kadash, everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem.
But what he gonna do?
When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion.
And they're done with what?
Have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the ruach of judgment and by the ruach of burning.
By the ruach of judgment and the ruach of burning. You know what I'm talking about? Remember, we done talked about that before. Because the land is defiled by blood. Stanley mentioned Isaiah 25:8. Give him verse 4. Hey, I need you to both be quiet. Come on.
For you have been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat. The blast of the terrible ones is a storm, as a storm against the wall. You shall bring down the noise of strangers as the heat in a dry place. Even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible ones shall be brought low.
What else?
In this mountain shall Yahuwah of hosts make unto all the people a feast of fat things.
Indeed.
A feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of oil, of wine on the lees well refined.
What else?
He will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. The veil that is spread over all nations.
Go ahead.
He will swallow up death and victory.
Uh-oh.
He will wipe away tears from off all faces. And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth.
See, that's getting rid of the iniquity. See, you got twofold thing of getting the iniquity out the land in one day. The first part is its actual. That's why I said the atonement part is not incorrect. It's just not going to use that verbiage. You know what I'm talking about? The second one is when he returned, because that's why he say he got to purge it with fire and with judgment. You know what I'm talking about? Remember when we talk about this, Read Isaiah 3 and 11. After that, Isaiah 27 and 9, but give him about verse 5. Now, see, 27 and 9, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be dealing with the destruction of idols. And that's a tad bit different than what we angling towards. Yeah, that's the one where he got to purge away the sin is to chop that up. Now, because when we're looking at taking away the iniquity of the land, it's taking away the guilt of the punishment. You know what I'm saying? See, the second one we would hit for that is Zechariah 13, when he said he opened the fountain for uncleanliness. You know what I'm saying? All this is really back to a reference to Daniel 9 and 24. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I say Emma's statement with atonement is not wrong, but we're looking for specific verbiage where he mentions, in this day, I'm going to remove this location. You know what I'm talking about? Because 27 and 9 in Isaiah, we're going to read it in a second. That's referring to what Jacob got to do. You know what I'm talking about? To purge his sin. When we read in Zechariah 3, he's saying this is what he gonna do. He remember it says right there, saith Yahuwah of hosts, I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. He gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I always want you to be able to slow your mind down and always look at the context of what we looking at. You know what I'm talking about? Because again, in the context of what we're looking at, and I say the beginning of the chapter, we didn't read. You know what I'm saying? But your context clues in the beginning of what you're reading is what will allow you to understand what's being communicated. So again, when we're looking at Yahushua, son of Yehozadak, standing before the Malachim of Yahuwah, Satan is resisting him. Yahuwah rebukes him. You know what I'm talking about? He's got filthy garments on. Now we know that's representative of being clothed in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Because that's corruptible. Then he says, hey, let's give him off these filthy garments, and I have caused the iniquity to pass from you. I will clothe you with a change of raiment. If you remember what's in Isaiah 51 that we done talked about, right, that people try to use for original sin, y'all remember that? Indeed, and that's understandable. And that's understandable. That's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fair. You know what I'm talking about? So give me Isaiah 51 and 3 real quick.
For Yahuwah shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places. He will make her wilderness like Eden, in her desert like the garden.
That's my bad. I meant Psalms 51 and 3. My bad.
For I acknowledge my transgressions, my sin is ever before me.
That's right.
Against you only have I sinned and done this evil in your sight.
Come on.
That you might be justified when you speak and be clear when you judge.
Go ahead.
Behold, I was shapen in iniquity.
Pause. I was shapen in what?
Iniquity. And in sin did my mother conceive me.
Pause. Now look at shapen in iniquity. What does that mean? What is actually being conveyed? This is what people use to say original sin. Original sin is not a scriptural concept. That's a doctrine of men. There's no such thing as original sin. Text don't say nothing like that. Go ahead.
Shapen is kill. One of the definitions is to be born. And the other one's like to dance, to twirl, to whirl.
So iniquity, I've been born with the consequence and guilt of iniquity. What is the consequence of Avon? Death. Because in Adam, you all die. You know what I'm talking about? I was shapen in iniquity. What else?
And then sin did my mother conceive me.
Now, give him sin, my mother conceived me. What does that mean?
Sin is caught. That's sin or guilt for sin, punishment for sin.
The punishment for sin. What else?
And then mother is
well, you don't need that. You can skip over that.
Conceive is yakam, to be hot, to conceive.
So my mother conceived me with the guilt of sin, which is what? Death. You know what I'm talking about? So when he's mentioning, I'm going to remove the iniquity of that land in one day, what is he removing? Death. You know what I'm talking about? Because if I remove the Avon from the people, then the punishment for iniquity is gone. Give him the definition of iniquity in totality, because we referencing it, but we ain't read it in its totality.
It's all bone. You got perversity, depravity, iniquity, guilt, or punishment of iniquity.
Punishment of iniquity.
Guilt of iniquity, guilt, guilt or condition, consequence of, or punishment.
Guilt or condition or consequence of. What is the consequence of iniquity? Death. You know what I'm talking about? So read the verse again. I was shaping in iniquity. So if you're shaping in iniquity, you're shaping in the consequence of iniquity because you're shaping in the flesh. There's no way around that. The consequence of iniquity is death. That's what Romans 5 is talking about. You know what I'm saying? If you're in sin, your mother conceived you. She didn't conceive you as forth as you committing sin. You conceived in sin because you are going to die. He said, they say everyone born is shaping in iniquity since Adam and Eve were not only born, but this is later on down the line. You know what I'm saying? To help them out, Romans 5 and 12.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, for that all have sinned.
All have what?
Have sinned.
My God, today.
For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law.
See, and before they touched that tree, sin wasn't imputed. Therefore, death wasn't imputed because they read it again.
We say, wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin.
Death by what?
Death by sin.
Death comes by what?
Sin.
So when in sin my mother conceived me, what have you been conceived into? Death. Because death come by what?
Sin.
Death come by what?
Sin.
So ain't no original sin. Ain't nobody born in no sin. You just born to die. You know what I'm talking about? Read it again.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world.
So how did sin enter into the world? What did Paul tell him?
One man.
No, keep on going.
Death by sin.
Death came by sin. So death only came into the world because of sin. And what did your law say? You can eat of every tree in this garden, but the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For the day that you eat, you shall surely die. You know what I'm talking about? You shall surely die. So until they ate from that tree, there was no sin, which means there was no death per se. You know what I'm talking about? Because he could have ate from the tree of life and lived forever. Everybody who come around here, you already know what Genesis 3 and 22 say. Take lest they eat and live forever. You know what I'm talking about? So the aspect that we getting from this particular thing, because again, these are doctrines of men, because this is where it come in at the law and the testimony, or the prophetic testimony, or the testimony of Yahushua as the Ruach of prophecy. That just allows us to understand these things. Let Yahuwah be esteemed. You know what I'm talking about? So when it comes into that regard, when he says, in sin my mother conceived me, Romans 5 and 12.
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men.
Death passed upon what?
All men.
Because all men
have sinned.
Okay.
For until the law, sin was in the world. But sin is not imputed when there is no law.
Sin is not imputed where there is no law. Was there any sin imputed on Adam? No, because there was no law. But when he broke it, sin was imputed on him because there is a law. Continue.
Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam's transgression, who was the figure of him that was to come. But not as the offense, so also was the free gift.
That's right.
For through the offense of one, many be dead. Much more the grace of Elohim and the gift by grace, which is by one man.
See, that gift of grace is how the iniquity is removed from the land in one day, because he said, I will engrave the graving thereof. See, that's the other key point. That's why we read the definition. If you got the engraving, your mind, for those of you who are veterans, should have went automatically to, I have written you upon the palm of my hands. How can I forget you? You know what I'm saying? I can't forget you like a woman don't forget her nursing child. Or what are those wounds in your hand? These are the wounds that I got in the house of love. You know what I'm talking about? This is what allows us to be able to understand, how is he removing the iniquity in the land in one day? Now we got the one removing the iniquity in the land by his return. But more importantly, that's why I was referencing that, because I wanted more detail. Because when Emma said atonement, that's correct, but that's broad. You know what I'm talking about? I need y'all to be like, put it this way. If we were in a classroom and I gave you an exam and you gave me an answer that broad, I would have no choice but to fail you, because you didn't give me an answer. You know what I'm saying? You gave me an answer, but you didn't give me an answer. because that's broad, because that's such a large scope. What are you actually answering at this particular time? You know what I'm saying? Because if you say, hey, Genesis 15, well, what in Genesis 15? And then in the what in Genesis 15, how is what you're isolating out of that directly relate to the passage that we're discussing? You know what I'm saying? This is why I be like, no, we need to be specific, because that's broad. And then what we end up doing is we're doing the same thing that a majority of the people who deal with the word do is that's a broad expanse. That's a wide range. That's a wide net that you're casting to try to find some information. You don't, not even you say to find some information, to extract an understanding. You know what I'm saying? We don't necessarily want to cast a wide net. We want to be zeroed in specifically and deliberately, boom, boom, boom. And not only, because it's really for your own process of being able to understand what you're looking at. Now, I do know this here in general. Most of the time, especially scripturally, because I know majority of people cannot readily just isolate specific verses off the top of their head. I'm not worried about you doing it off the top of your head. That's why I pause and give time for you to go look at it and say, nah, I'm talking about verse 4, 5, or 6. You know what I'm talking about? Because I know everybody's not, and you don't need to feel the need to feel like, oh, I need to be able to pop the verse off the top of my head. There'll be enough time in between for you to go look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the other part of the play. You can go look at it. And you know why we can go look at it? Because this is an open book text. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to try to draw stuff off of memory. That's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? The only time, and then even then, you shouldn't be drawing off memory. If you in the street, if you moving around or you sitting down and you disseminating word, that means it's in your heart and it flow out. You know what I'm saying? Don't never get caught up on some old, I need to remember book, chapter, and verse. That's unnecessary. Because you have to remember something. Them people didn't have chapter and verse. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have that. There was no Isaiah 27. You know what I'm saying? There was no Zechariah 3. It was just the book of Zechariah. You know what I'm saying? You know, Caucasians came back through later and you know, later on down the line and added book and chapter. Well, chapter and verse, excuse me. But that's not what they had back then. They just had a scroll. And it was the book of Isaiah. And you had to go through that scroll and find what you was looking for. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, be cool on that. Don't put no pressure on yourself when it comes to that. That's not necessary. As long as the word itself come to mind, shoot, you know, City can find a book, chapter, and verse. He's adept. He's skilled. You know what I'm saying? That's what he do. He like the mechanic. He just hit that's your alternator. You know what I'm saying? He just know it by the sound. Oh, you need a new catalytic converter. See, it reminds me of the scripture that says he will write his words upon your heart. Indeed. Because some people memorize and then some people lay it up. You know what I'm saying? Laying it up in your heart, it's going to come to mind as it's appropriate for the situation and circumstance. Memorizing is just that. You memorize something. But if you laid it up in your heart, you've internalized it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference when it comes to that. But come on back to we good in Isaiah 51. We need to read.
You said Isaiah 3 and something that was going to go Isaiah 27.
I don't even remember what it was in Isaiah 3. I ain't mentioning in Isaiah 3. I think it's just 27 and 4. But 9 is what Monte represents.
It said, by this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged, and this is all the fruit to take away his sin.
Take away his sin.
When he make all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten and sundered, the groves and images shall not stand up.
Now, see, this is different. Give him purge right there, man.
That's kafar, to cover, purge, to make an atonement, to make reconciliation.
For him to make the reconciliation, say, I've been trying to remember scripture. Yeah. You got to stretch yourself like that. So now he's looking at, when you look at this one, he say, this is what Jacob This is therefore shall the iniquity of Jacob, by this shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged, and the fruit to take away his sin is to destroy the altar. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of along the lines of what we read when he say, bring fruit meat for repentance. You know what I'm saying? But we know for the actual removing iniquity out of the land, some blood got to be shed. You know what I'm talking about? Because, we talk about that. The blood is for what? The kafar, for the atonement. It's some blood got to be shed. You know what I'm saying? No, listen, man, let me tell you something, man. When you stop putting the pressure on yourself to memorize or to see, not just the key component where you want as a car or remember some word is when you face with situations and circumstances and the word come to mind to cause you to make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, the word don't come to mind. This is what it's referring to in Romans when he says, since you don't like to retain Elohim in your knowledge, he give you over to a reprobate mind. You know what I'm saying? So I think we'll be more engaged with, can I recite word back? But more so when you face with situations and circumstances, does the word come to mind to constrain your behavior? You know what I'm saying? Because you can be a man and you can see a woman who you deem physically attractive. Does the word come to mind for you not to lay with her? You know what I'm saying? When you know that you shouldn't do it. Does the word come to mind for you not to take that which don't belong to you? Does the word come to mind for you not to worship an idol or this, that, there, and the third? You know what I'm saying? Because some people, they go do some stuff, don't know word come to mind. They going to go sleep with whoever. You know what I'm saying? Do this, that, there, and the third. It ain't make no difference. Read it for him, man. Romans 1:28.
And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind.
Tell them what retain mean, man.
That is echo, to have, to hold.
To
hold, to possess, to hold oneself, or find oneself, so and so, to be in such or such a condition. To hold oneself to a thing, to lay hold of a thing, to adhere or cling to.
So when you say to lay hold to a thing, guess what that's going to take us to? Proverbs 23:23. Go ahead and run it.
By the truth and sell it not.
Tell them what by means.
That is kana, to get, acquire, to create, buy, or possess.
Ain't that what you just read, retain mean? So he wants you to buy the amath. Which word for truth is used there, man?
Amath. And
what that mean?
You got firmness, faithfulness, truth, sureness, reliability, stability, continuance, faithfulness, reliableness, truth.
So guess what he wants you to do? Acquire and possess and retain that in your knowledge and sell it not. Tell them what sell it not mean. The Sabbath is the seventh day, not Sunday. This nigga here. Go ahead.
Sell is makar, to sell. To be sold, to sell oneself, to be given over to death.
Don't give yourself over to death now. Because if you don't retain this, you're going to give yourself over to death. That's what Romans 1 going to lead to. So, buy the truth and do what, Sibo?
Sell it not.
Also,
wisdom and instruction and understanding.
So he said you need to go inquire not only the amath, you need to get you some kokma, which is some skill in war. You know what I'm talking about? Get you some musar or some instruction, which is some chastenance and discipline. And not only that, but get you some understanding of some benay, get you some insight, some discernment, and some proper judgment. Go acquire and possess all of that. So then let's take us back to Romans 1:28.
And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient.
So since you didn't buy the truth and you sold it, also wisdom, instruction, and understanding, he's going to give you over to a mind that he has rejected. Because reprobate is to be rejected. So he's going to reject you. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is a hard truth that a lot of people don't like to hear. Boy, once God rejects you, it's over with. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can't find one person who God rejected and he came back and said, you know what? I changed my mind. I want you back. It ain't never happened. Once he rejects you, he done with you. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people like to say it's never too late, but I'm telling you, man, that man give you over to a reprobate mind, it's over for that. You understand? And you want to see where you have scriptural examples for what you say? Well, let me give you the first one. Saul, he was rejected. He never took Saul back. Oh, would you like another one? Sure. Here goes another one. Dang, was it just in my brain? When you read in Jeremiah, when he say reprobate silver has Yahuwah He didn't reject Cain per se. You know what I'm saying? He just kicked him out. But you can look at that as a rejection, because especially considering his name. So I take that back. My apologies. Because his name is not in his genealogy. Never took him back. Rejected. He can't be accepted because he's a murderer, and ain't no murderer got no eternal life in him. So again, my apologies. Cain, reprobate, rejected. You know what I'm talking about? You got your Jeremiah 6, reprobate silver, have men called them for you who have rejected them. You know what I'm saying? Once that man rejects you, it's a wrap. Oh, this was the one that the main thing in my mind. In Numbers, when he say, I swear all those men 20 and over is not getting in my land. Esau indeed rejected. You know what I'm talking about? Indeed rejected. You don't ever see him say, you know what? Let me take it back. No. Reject means exactly that. Give him what reprobate mean in the Greek, man.
Adokimos, that is not standing the test, that's not approved. That which does not prove itself, such as it ought, unfit for, unproved, spurious, reprobate. And then you got worthless, literally or morally, cast away.
If he say you worthless, you a son of Belial. He say, was Saul judgment on earth or only by the kingdom also? Now that will pertain to when he goes preach to the spirits in prison. But as you can see on earth, Yahuwah rejected it. You know what I'm talking about? Now, as it pertains to him preaching to the spirits in prison, time will tell. You know what I'm talking about? But we could look at it forth as the natural is concerned. Well, God rejected that man. You know what I'm talking about? And he rejected that man. Read the definition of reprobate, that first one, man. Listen what it said. He failed the who?
Not standing the test.
Not standing the test. When he told him to go kill all them Amalekites, boy, Saul didn't stand the test. He ain't stand the test. You know what I'm talking about? What's the next one, though?
And then you got not approved.
Not approved.
Say that which does not prove itself such as it ought.
Doesn't prove that you are what you should be.
Say unfit for, unproved, spurious, reprobate.
We remember what spurious mean. In case you all forgot, because I damn sure did. Man, you know my brain ain't working like it used to. It's definitely not working like it used to. You know, false, fake, spurious. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what that takes us back to? The wheat and the tares. Remember what a tare is, Sebo?
Look like we just like black.
Black kernel. Look like a wheat, but it ain't no wheat. You know what I'm talking about? Come on. When he said worthless, that take you to a son of Belial. All sons of Belial are rejected. You know what I'm talking about? So that's a dangerous place to be. Romans 1:28.
And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their knowledge, Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness.
Paul, so if you filled with a whole bunch of fornication, some sexual degeneracy, what else?
You got covetousness.
Oh, so you lustful? And then when you talk about coveting, you lust in things that don't belong to you.
You got wickedness.
Oh, you got a lot of disagreeableness in you.
Maliciousness.
Oh, you full of malice. Give them the definition of covet, wickedness, and maliciousness.
Covetousness, that is pleonexia, that is greedy desire to have more. Covetousness.
A greedy desire to have more. You're never satisfied. You want more.
Wickedness is porneia, that is depravity, iniquity, wickedness, malice, evil purposes, and desires.
You got a whole bunch of evil purposes and desires. You malignant, nigga.
Maliciousness is hakia, malignity, malice, ill will, desire to injure, wickedness. Depravity.
You got a desire to injure.
You got wickedness that is not ashamed to break laws.
You ain't ashamed to break no laws. That take us back to the mystery of iniquity, that you have a contempt. You know what I'm talking about? For this man word. You got a contempt for it. Go ahead.
Full of envy.
Full of envy?
Murder, debate.
You full of contention and strife?
Deceit, malignity, whisperers.
Go on, tell them what malignity and whispering is, man.
Malignity is kakoethia, that is bad character, depravity of heart and life.
You got bad character?
That is malignant subtlety and malicious craftiness.
Malicious craftiness, God.
And then you got whisperers. That is suturistes. That is a whisperer, a secret slanderer.
That's a talebearer. You know what I'm talking about? A secret slanderer. Go ahead.
Detractor.
You like this detract, you like to take away.
And then you got backbiters.
Tell them what that is. Just a little bit more slander.
Catalalos, that is a defamer, evil speaker.
You like to speak evil of people. You know, the text told you not to do that. He said when you do that, you speak it. Hold on. That's in James. Let me grab that for you. Stay where you at, Simo. And truth be told, all of these things are a part of the mystery of iniquity. So it's good to just run it down like that there and get it over with. Where that junk at? We ain't got all that, so I ain't gonna waste too much time. It come to mind. It comes. There it is. This is the epistle of James, chapter 4, verse 11. Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speak evil of his brother and judge his brother speak evil of the law and judge the law. But if you judge the law and are not a doer of the law, but a judge, there is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who are you to judge another? Go not. See, look what he say. He say, don't speak evil of each other. You know what I'm talking about? What that just said, Sibo, on the definition of that word.
Backbiter, that's a defamer, an evil speaker.
Hold on, Paul. He said a defamer, an evil speaker. This is what he said to be a backbiter. Speak evil in this particular passage is to and James is to speak against one, to criminate, to traduce, to slander, to speak evil against. I'm gonna give you the definition of a traducer. Civic, you a traducer, a seducer, or a producer? Which one you do? So we say I'm a producer. You say, I might be a seducer on a good day. A traducer is one who maliciously attacks and slanders and libels someone's character and reputation. It refers to someone who intentionally spreads false or defamatory statements to damage another person's standing. Common synonyms include slanderer, defamer, backbiter, vilifier, and detractor. And you know what that sounds like? Satan. And what you think Satan gonna be doing, or that man of sin gonna be doing, or why he want to kill the two witnesses. What you think Pharaoh was doing to say, I don't know no Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? What you think Jezebel was doing during the time of Elijah. And what were they doing? Moses and Elijah going against the traducer or the defamer or the slanderer of Yahuwah. And that's what they're going to have to do in regards to into the beast. That's why he heard tidings. Remember we read it in Daniel 11 and it troubled him. This is why they got power to afflict the world with plagues from the time of their testimony. Because remember, it said he got power to speak blasphemy against God and against the tabernacle. You know what I'm saying? And everybody in it. You know, blasphemy. Come on, man. Y'all got to be able. Remember, we on week 2 on this here. There's a lot of stuff you got to pick from each thing. And this day 5. You know what I'm saying? Or the fifth opportunity that we've been going through this here, where you could take this here and you put all this together. Come on with it.
You got haters of Elohim.
You hate God?
That is despiteful. You got
tell him what being despiteful is.
Hubristes, an insolent man, one who uplifted with pride either heaps insulting language upon others or does them some shameful act of wrong. Got maltreated.
Go ahead. You like to insult people?
Proud, boasters, inventors of evil things.
You like
disobedient to parents.
Oh my.
Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful.
What's without natural affection? Depravity of the heart, like malignity, indeed.
That's storgos. That is without natural affection, unsociable, inhuman, unloving. We got implacable, unmerciful. Who, knowing the judgment.
Tell them what implacable is.
Espondos, without a treaty or covenant of things not mutually agreed upon, abstinences from hostilities that cannot be persuaded to enter into a covenant or implacable.
Listen, when you sit back and you look at not can be persuaded to enter into a covenant, that's the stuff when you get into when dudes be like, oh, if I give you some we married. You know what I'm saying? Because it tell you that's the wife of your covenant, and this person can't be persuaded and enter into a covenant. You're implacable. Now, again, this ain't for you advocating for you to go get a marriage license. I'm not here to die on that hill and argue that fight this evening. You know what I'm talking about? But you do have to understand, if you say, I don't want no marriage license, and you have to understand, if you're going to make a covenant between each other, just know this here, that the state is not going to recognize it if you're seeking to get anything XYZ out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, we didn't have this conversation plenty of times because it's religious. I hate to use that particular terminology. Communities where people live at, you know what I'm saying, and they do these things. Those covenantal agreements are only enforceable in those communities. You know what I'm talking about? So, see, if you don't live in that type of community, let's say like Amish community, a Jewish community that I can think of here. Like these people are over here in an area of land isolated to themselves, and they live like this. Those covenantal agreements are enforceable between those parties, but they couldn't go to a court in the locale that they live in and the court enforce it. You know what I'm saying? Because the court will say that we don't interfere in those matters. We don't have jurisdiction over that. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of how that works. Now, the reason why it's different with a marriage license is because you went and got that license in that particular locality, and therefore they can enforce that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's part of their jurisdiction. Because, you know, contrary to popular belief, getting a marriage license is not a sign of any type of religious covenant. A civil union is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Because that's for punks. You know what I'm saying? I think that's in the states where they don't do that at. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, what I'm talking about, it's not we're talking about enforceable in court. So, like I said, they didn't want to get a marriage license. They gotta see them doing a bill of divorce and all that is only enforceable in a religious community that they're in. You know what I'm saying? That's not enforceable in any superior / district court, depending on where you at. You know what I'm talking about? Like you couldn't take a bill of divorce that you wrote out to your wife, or the wife can say, okay, well, I want XYZ from this man. She can't go to the 4th District Court in the state of Florida. You know what I'm saying? AKA here in Jacksonville. And that court enforced that. They're gonna tell her to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because as far as they're concerned, is that marriage license, that covenant that you made in that bill of divorce has nothing to do with us. Take that back to your rabbi, your pastor, your elder, whatever the hell you call them, but we can't do nothing with that here. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what I'm referring to. It's not nothing to be like, oh, God gonna send you to hell because you made a covenant with yourself and not with the state. Some people tell you that. A covenantal agreement is a covenantal agreement between two parties. It doesn't need a state sanctioning to make it a covenantal agreement. You know what I'm saying? As long as it is written out and is agreed to by both parties with witnesses, that covenantal agreement is enforceable under heaven. You know what I'm talking about? But if you're talking about court, you know what I mean? Court, you can't take no ketubah, whatever you want to call it, you can't take that into their courtroom. They're not going to recognize it. You know what I'm saying? You can't take a bill of divorce that you gave a woman into their courtroom and they're going to recognize it. They're not. You know what I'm saying? They're going to expect, and a lot of places when people get those, they're not in a religious community, if you would. You know what I'm saying? It's engaged being in a technical aspect. It is, but it isn't. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I say what I mean by that is, in ancient culture of Israel, if two people were called engaged, which the text would call a betrothal or a promise for marriage, they're married. You know what I'm talking about? Now, there can be things to stop that betrothal if they haven't consummated said marriage, because we can see that with Samson when he was promised to a particular woman and then that woman was given to somebody else. There can be, issues with that. Long as that other person hadn't had sex with that woman, no adultery has been committed. You know what I'm saying? Now, there could be some fallout between the families and Of course, some type of monetary compensation would have to be ironed out in that situation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but in these days and times, what we would call an engagement, because see, a covenant would have been entered in between both families with a betrothal. You know what I'm talking about? And antiquity. In these days and times, it's this man getting on bended knee asking this woman to marry him. There's no covenant agreement made between these two parties. You know what I'm talking about? You say you were talking to a woman that was engaged. Yeah, I mean, shoot. I mean, if they broke off that engagement, and see, here come the sticky part when I say that. You know what I'm saying? In these times, because 9 times out of 10, this woman was engaged to this man. They were probably already having coitus before they were engaged. You know what I'm talking about? So there's that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different type of play, because if the engagement is severed, that's why it tells you in Exodus, right? If you lay with a woman who's betrothed, it's the same as committing adultery, and you get killed. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't do it by force, she getting killed with you. You know what I'm talking about? Because you just slept with somebody's wife. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know that's not the standard. That's not the standard here. You know what I'm saying? Nobody looks at, in America, people look at it, you single till you married. Some people don't, most people in America do not look at an engagement as they're married. You know what I'm saying? That's just not the standard that people live by here. You know what I mean? But, in general, I'm referring to the aspect of, covenantal agreements made between two private parties. You can't take that covenantal agreement in anybody's courtroom and they recognize it. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do it. Because I say that because it's always people who, when things don't go the way they would like for it to go, that's when they want to go to Mr. Charlie courtroom. You know what I'm talking about? And hey man, Mr. Charlie gonna tell you get up out of here. Because they gonna tell you that that ain't got nothing to do with us. See, this is the difference with a civil union, because a civil union is a legal recognized union with rights similar to those of marriage, created originally for same-sex couples in jurisdictions where they're not legally allowed to marry. You know what I'm saying? So two heterosexual people cannot enter into a civil union because it is legal for you to marry. You know what I'm talking about? Depending on, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no dependent. All 50 states, the United States of America, it is legal for two heterosexual people to be married. But two bulldaggers and two punks, it may not be legal for them to marry everywhere. So that's why they give them a civil union. That's why a lot of homosexuals go to states where it's legal for them to get married, for them to get a marriage license. You know what I'm talking about? Because of how many states don't do gay marriage? It might be all 50 do gay marriage now. Let's look and see. They don't talk about it no more because, hey, punks get married. What states do not have gay marriage? Same-sex marriage is federally legal in all states and territories except American Samoa due to the Supreme Court's ruling of Obergefell versus Hodges, meaning no state can currently ban it. However, some states still have old laws or constitutional amendments defining marriages between man and a woman, which could become active if Obergefell were overturned. Even though some states have pro-equality laws or court rulings that might protect marriage equality, states with lingering bans or potential conflicts include many in the South and Midwest, like Texas, Michigan, Georgia, and North Dakota. But current federal laws make these unenforceable. So this was a Supreme Court decision made in 2015. State laws or amendments that previously banned gay marriage are currently invalid due to this federal precedent. So therefore, civil unions are no longer a thing because homosexuals can be married in all 50 states. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, civil unions wouldn't pertain to heterosexual couples because it's not illegal for them to marry. You know what I'm talking about? So, and honestly, I I don't give a damn if a punk get married, because it ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm be honest with you. And I know a lot of people just got in there crazy because punks everywhere. Punks been here. And punks ain't going nowhere. And bulldaggers ain't going nowhere. Not till the Lord get by. You know what I'm saying? So a punk getting married don't take nothing away from well, that wasn't on Obama, that Joseph. That's on the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed to that. I don't even think Obama probably added that many Supreme Court justices on the court by the time that decision was made. Punks getting married, lesbians getting married, that don't take nothing away from nothing that you got going on. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? It's a deplorable act. Before them getting married doesn't make the act any more deplorable. It was already deplorable before they did it. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know what I mean? So I don't even care about that. You know, that didn't have me, and I wasn't in no word in 2015. It ain't had me in up. Yeah, I was. I'm tripping. I got out of prison, been out of prison 6 years. I didn't care because that nigga still gay. You know what I'm saying? Because these people, and you know what's crazy? They said out of all relationships, for the most part, at least with homosexual, they say gay man marriage has the highest success rate, if you would, meaning the lowest rate of divorce. They said the highest rate of divorce, I guess you know, 2 women. You know what I'm talking about? 2 women. You know, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Then people be up and all, ladies say, it can't be this high. It can't be that way. I'd be like, man, it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, women get with women and they find out it's not what they thought it was. What's that bulldagger lady? The queen maker. She found that out. Yeah, it's all window dressing, man. You know what I'm saying? Because these people, listen, man, I'll tell you this for years, right? People don't like to be excluded. You know what I'm saying? No matter who it is, no matter what it is, human beings don't like to be excluded. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to certain things, oh, y'all can't marry. Did you really want to be married? Because let's check it, right? If you're effectively living in the same house with this punk, doing this, that, there, and the third, oh, you just want a marriage license, and you only want this marriage license because these people said you can't have it. You know what I'm talking about? That's the only reason why you want it. Because I personally believe if these homosexuals had the ability to marry the whole time, I think a lot of them wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? The same way I mentioned how it's a lot of heterosexual people who be with people for years and never get legally married because they don't want to. You know what I'm saying? I believe personally, this is my opinion, that if homosexuals had always been able to be married, I believe a lot of them wouldn't do it. I think they only wanted to do it because somebody told them that they could not. Which is why you don't hear about it no more. Because all they wanted to do was have the ability to say that, don't tell me I can't do something. Because that's how human beings are. I want to do it because you said I can't do it. So now I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's all that really was, in my opinion. What we at? We still in Romans 1. Mm-hmm. Finish that out.
Verse 32. Who, knowing the judgment of Elohim, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
You know what I'm saying? See, put it this way, right? See, you would know in the land of Yasharal, in the land of Yahuwah, you can't do that. Because you ain't got to worry about 2 punks being married because you ain't even supposed to be punking. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to have a liquor license here. That's not supposed to be going on down here. You know what I'm saying? But then you have to look at where we live at. We live in a God-forsaken place. So when you're living in a God-forsaken place, people want to participate in God-forsaken activities. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to bring agitation and enrage into your spirit to be disgusted by this here, because I'm going to tell you something real. When I came home from prison in 2009, I was not accustomed to seeing open homosexuals in abundance walking the street, because that just wasn't a thing in 2004, before when I left. You know what I'm saying? You might have knew some homosexuals, you might have knew some lesbians, but they weren't open. But to just see flamboyant punks flapping all around the place, you're like, God damn, what the hell going on out here? I ain't been gone that goddamn long. Listen, man, 4.5 years is just the time you would spend to say if you went off to college somewhere. But the only difference is you would still be out in the world depending on what city you in, and you would see certain things. So it was kind of shocking to see that, like, boy, it was for the worst. It was two things I noticed. It was a lot of homosexuals, and the style of dress was atrocious. You know what I'm saying? I think that's when they was like with that, MMA skull and bones, you know what I'm saying? All that time. I was like, what's going on with the clothes? This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this what niggas wear out here now? I don't want to wear that. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about that the other day. The old niggas wearing jeans with rhinestones on them. Why you got beads on your pants, bro? Like rhinestones, bro? On your clothes? On your shirt? You bedazzled, my nigga? I don't want to be bedazzled. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's this dude on Instagram. I think he worked for Complex. He be talking about fashion, man, and they be pumping stuff up. He be, you know what I'm saying? And I be looking at, I be like, that doesn't look good, bro. You know what I'm saying? High fashion don't work for me because a lot of stuff. Nah, I don't want to wear that. And you be like, yeah, that's drip. Hey, man, you call it what you want. I'm a pass. You know what I'm saying? That's why some people be like, you niggas in the South Country, this, that, that. They call it what you want. I ain't wearing that. And you look like a clown. You know what I'm saying? You remember that when these niggas was wearing them red boots? Like, you niggas look like a clown. You niggas got Astro boots on, man. You got cartoon nigga boots on. Cartoon nigga boots. And them boys like, yeah, they cost $600 though. You got scammed. I can't even say you got scammed. You deluded yourself into believing this was fresh because other niggas was wearing it. I'm good on that. I don't want to be with fashion. You know what I'm saying? Because they wear weird stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's how them niggas end up wearing skirts. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Because you trying to follow what these people got going on, man. I'm a pass, man. Because they were talking about, that's what they was talking about, man. It made me think about what Nas spit on Third Childhood about attire. Because, stuff is different. You know what I'm saying? You take individuals such as myself, being finna be 46, we grew up in a time period where rap first started taking off. So that type of, like, if you go back, say, my daddy time period or my granddaddy's time period, when the men reached 40, they dressed a certain type, but they also didn't have the streetwear and hip hop type of thing either, though. You know what I'm saying? Because some people like, oh, you trying to dress like a young person. When you're like, I've been dressing like this my entire life. You know what I'm saying? And now you hitting that intersection where you got that coming up, people who grew up streetwear, hip hop type of deal. Now they in their 40s, and you think they trying to look young. Like, nah, this is just what we do. You think because I hit a certain age, I'm supposed to be dressing like an orthopedic individual? I don't want to wear that. You know what I'm saying? I got on t-shirts and jeans. He said, yeah, that's why I don't get mad. And no, because he's just being himself. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, he don't really be wearing that man just be having on jeans and a t-shirt, bro. You know what I'm saying? And expensive jackets because he live in New York and it's cold. You know what I'm saying? He do the wallet chains. The wallet chains was never my thing because I remember the white boys and the skaters wearing wallet chains in the 90s, but that just wasn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? I think he was going for the rock star. And I don't want to look like a rock star. That's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people have to look at, man. How people dress, that's their thing. If that's their thing, that's their thing. What you care for? You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to wear it and you ain't pay for it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff niggas wear. I wear it, like, I don't want to wear that. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about the other day, remember when we asked, like, I don't wear full sweatsuits. I ain't never worn a full sweatsuit in all my days. You know what I'm saying? I've worn windbreaker suits, but I ain't did that since the 90s. You know what I'm saying? When I say the 90s, I'm talking about as a teen. That's not something that, as I got older, I wanted to continue to do. One, I live in Florida. It's hot as hell. You know what I'm talking about? So, sweatpant hoodie combo wasn't something I was looking to do. Two, I don't like how sweatpants fit on me in general. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like to wear them. You know what I'm saying? So I pass on that. You know what I'm saying? I like to wear jeans, certain type of jeans. That's what I like. You know what I'm saying? And I particularly like wearing camo, fatigues specifically. That's what, you know what I'm saying? That's just me. Everybody ain't on that. Say, yeah, Jimmy started the rock star look with the chrome heart wallets and and I seen the dude talking about BB Simon belts. I don't even know who that is, but I was never into flashy belts. You know what I'm saying? I never was into designer belts. Give me a nice brown or black leather belt, and that's cool. I ain't need all that extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's just me though. Everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? And you had to realize that people express themselves through what they like to wear, and then some people just, this is what I like to wear. Then some people dress like a dad. Some women dress like a whore. Some women dress like a stylish whore. Some women dress like a stylish lady. Some women dress like a lady. Some women dress like an old mom. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're comfortable with. Who cares? Not my business. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying this here because I noticed, because, okay, I'm 45. A lot of my peers still dress the same. As we've all, you know, you made changes, you know what I'm saying? But fundamentally, you still hood with it. Because that's what they feel like, oh, you should start wearing fitted hats. What you want me to wear, derby, nigga? I ain't never wore a derby. So I'm supposed, because I hit a certain age, I want to wear, because niggas who wear derbies always want. You don't get to 30 and 40 and start doing that. You know what I'm saying? You take niggas from Chicago, they wear hats like that. And they wear them young, too. You know what I'm saying? But usually for me, my opinion anyway, nigga who wear derby, you probably already live a sartorial lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that you wear suits, tailored suits, I would hope. You know what I'm saying? You know, wingtips, dress shoes. You know what I'm saying? I don't even say dress shoes. Loafers. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? To fit that, you dress like that regularly. To justify buying that hat. Them hats ain't cheap. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, still wear sport. Indeed. Yeah, because I want to be comfortable. So, you know what I'm saying? But it also depends on the lifestyle. Like I said, if you live in a sartorial lifestyle, you live in a lifestyle that precludes you to, because guess what? If my lifestyle, meaning that I had a different line of work and did different type of stuff, I seen dudes the other day breaking down what a necktie mean. I ain't going through all that, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Necktie mean this. I think it mean a noose. You niggas too smart for your own goddamn good, my nigga. Like, god damn. It's just a tie, blood. I ain't wearing suits no more. Nigga, you wasn't wearing them anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, and that be that goofy stuff. Okay, bro, if you don't want to wear a suit, you got to go on this whole great dissertation to try to persuade or dissuade somebody from wearing a suit, bro. Some people want to wear a suit because that's their style of dress. That's how they like to dress. You know what I'm saying? I'm not against it. You know what I'm saying? If what I did for a living, this, that, there, and the third, then I would probably wear suits every day. You know what I'm saying? The difference is mine gonna be tailored and of good quality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, because that's when you get to, okay, I'll put it this way. You don't watch them fragrance niggas. Like Bow Tie the fragrance guy, that man on that. You know what I'm saying? Ties fly. You know what I'm talking about? Pocket square fresh. Strong, deep, you know what I'm saying? Cuff links. You know what I'm saying? Man coming through, that man clean. You know what I'm saying? Nigga get mad because you see a nigga with a suit on. You want him to put on some cultural garb. Man, that nigga don't want to wear that damn Hebrew jump, nigga. This nigga don't want to wear them damn dashiki, nigga. Because you want to equate a suit to a European because you a goofy. Nigga's just clothes, bro. All it is a jacket, a dress shirt, and some pants, my nigga. God damn. Get him cracking too much credit, man. Come on, son. That junk be aggravating me, man. Where would you like? Where would you feel comfortable in? You know what I'm saying? Just like they said, well, that's the thing now, nigga. You know they had the thing with wearing quarter zips. I ain't never owned a quarter zip in my life. You know what I'm saying? That ain't never nothing I went in the store and looked at and said, I need that. That's just me though. You know what I'm saying? That's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like t-shirts was cool for me. It got more cool as I actually built a physique and actually could. The t-shirt didn't droop on my body because I was extremely skinny. You know what I'm talking about? But I always wore jerseys. But I mainly wore polo shirts, jeans, and Clarks all the time, every day. You know what I'm talking about? And then, of course, you know, summertime come around, you know, dress code might switch. We might go to wearing polo, swimming trunks, and a t-shirt. It just depends. It's whatever pop in my mind, and I get creative ideas like this here. This is the direction we're going to go this year. But the shoes stay the same because I ain't never wore no sneakers like that. You know what I'm saying? Clarks, Timbs, slides. Good on that. You know what I'm saying? Other people got their own thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was these niggas dressing in. Them damn anime clothes. Niggas wearing the button up with the anime nigga on it, boy. Come on, blood. Can't go out like that. Can't go out like that, man. You know what I'm saying? What else have they been talking about yet? Yeah, I ain't never owned no quarters there. That's just not my thing. One, I live in Florida, niggas hot as hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. Now, I used to wear hoodies a lot, but I was to hide my crack. You know what I'm saying? The type of jacket I would wear is the one I would prefer a leather varsity jacket, but they expensive as hell, and it's not cold enough here to justify paying that kind of money for a jacket. You know what I'm talking about? For real. You say you ain't want the iced out bugs? No, sir. No, sir. I wore a lot of iceberg back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Definitely did. As far as like cartoon characters and things like that, I wore a lot of iceberg. You know what I'm saying? But them were quality garments, though. Let's say the attitude about fashion that just goes with women. I've heard. I have a friend who's older who won't do urban wear since that trend is done. She like high-end Chanel and Gucci. That's a business. What's going on? I'm not into all that. Now, as far as like jeans, maybe, but I don't need no Gucci shirts, Louis shirts, and all that type of stuff, man. That junk's unnecessary. You know, I don't see the appeal. Most of them clothes ugly as hell. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the women clothes are different. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of them just want that Gucci and Chanel and all that stuff. It's a status symbol. You know what I'm saying? Look at me. I got Louis on. It is what it is. You know? Hey, you the one got to wear it. I don't give a damn. Come on with it.
We're done from one.
Come on back to Zechariah, man. Read verse 9 again. We look at the taking of iniquity away in one day. But I tell you, this one, I told y'all this one article of clothing I ain't with. With them cotton cargo shorts, boy. Those are, I remember that night. Boy, so I say I remember that night, boy. We were going to 618, boy. Man, I pulled up the tutu high, man. I remember that I had on some I think I had on some Nike Prestos. I had on some Sean John shorts, and I had on my RJ Sauer Jacksonville Jaguar authentic jersey. And this nigga popped out the house with them red cargo shorts on. I say, oh, hell no. Oh, boy. I said, boy, we getting too much money for this, boy. You can't be coming out here looking like that, my nigga. You look corny as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Cotton cargos, my nigga. I'm talking about sweatpant cargos, my nigga. This is what I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about sweatpant cargos, bro. I said, boy, we going somewhere where women at, bro. What's wrong with you, man? And you getting money. I said, boy, we hitting the mall tomorrow, boy. You know what I'm talking about? You got to do better than this. This is not going to cut it. Come on, man.
For behold, the stone that I have laid before Yahushua upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. Behold, I'll engrave the graving thereof, saith Yahuwah of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day.
So listen, go back to Isaiah 4 and 3.
And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remain in Jerusalem shall be called Kadash, even everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When Yahuwah shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the rock of judgment and by the rock of burning.
Now pause. Zechariah 13 and 1. That was another thing I think I told you I ain't never wear them Dickie shoes neither. That wasn't my thing either. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my homeboys did that. The Dickie shirt, Dickie pants, or Dickie shorts. Never did that. Never was my thing.
So in that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem.
Oh, a fountain open for what?
For sin and for uncleanness.
For sin and for what?
Uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day.
That's good. It's open for sin and uncleanness. This is the aspect of removing the iniquity of the land in one day. Oh, I know. Yeah, they rock them down here too. That was never my thing, man. I never did the Dickie apparel. Never did that. You know what I'm saying? I remember my mama bought me a Rockaware shirt. I appreciate it. It was decent. I ain't never wear them shirts. Them niggas shirts was ugly as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Sean John shirts, ugly as hell. Fat Farm shirts, ugly as hell. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I grab is the jeans. I ain't wearing no. Man, a lot of them shirts was ugly as hell. You see what I'm saying? Strictly just polo, iceberg, and what it was. Well, not at that time period. Did wear a lot of Kenneth Gant, Fade to Hill figure out. Nautica here and there. It depends. You know what I'm saying? Did grab Mark Echo t-shirts. He used to have comic books. You know, comic book covers on the shirt. I'm real particular, man. Some John just open up. Yeah, open up. What a Rockaway clothes. Ugly as hell, man. Oh, nah, man. By the time we came of age, man, Carl and I were gone. You know what I'm saying? Yep, that John was gone. You know, Carl and I was popping, man. We was like 12, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? By the time we could get some money, buy our own clothes, it was too late. I was gone. Early 90s, man, we wore a lot of New River from this store called JW. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I ain't never wear no FUBU. Had some platinum FUBU shorts. I ain't never wear no FUBU though. No, it didn't do nothing for me. You know what I'm talking about? It didn't do nothing for me. Yeah, it didn't do nothing for me. Damn sure did. You know what I'm saying? Now, we used to have a lot of hill figure race sailing polos. Them hoes was fire. Oh, cross colors, I was legit. By the time we got some money, cross colors were gone. You know what I'm saying? When I said get some money, I mean we could get a job. You know what I'm saying? By about 96, 97, 98, cross colors were gone. You know what I'm saying? FUBU still was hanging around, but niggas ain't really wear FUBU back then, man. You know what I'm saying? Even with the platinum FUBU, the dope boys wore it. You know what I'm saying? I grabbed a few, but it wasn't really my thing. You know what I'm saying? I like the material that them iceberg shirts was made of at the time. And I wore jerseys. A lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
What you want me to go back to?
Shoot. You read Zechariah 13? Swing on back over here to we'd read about the plummet and the stone and the seven eyes running through the earth. So yeah, let's come over here to Revelation 11. I did have some Averex jeans. I ain't wear their shirts though. Them shirts were ugly as hell. I ain't had no Averex jacket because shoot, I ain't paying no $1,000. You know what I'm saying? $600, $700, $800 for a jacket and wear that whole 3 times. Revelation 11:1, man. I did have Pele jeans. Shirts were ugly as hell too. You know what I'm saying? I buy jeans from, you know what I'm saying, that they fit right. I didn't get on that Jabot train like that either.
And it was giving me a reed like a Torah, and the Malachim stood saying, "Rise and measure the temple of Elohim and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the Kadash city shall they tread under 42 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses. They shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth.
And if any man,
these are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the Elohim of the earth.
And if any man
will hurt them, fire proceed out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut Shamayim, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn into blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will.
As often as they will. And when they shall have
finished your testimony, the beast that ascend out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them.
Pause. Now, that's what we came here for to read. It said when they finish their testimony. I want you to give testimony by definition right now, man. I'm trying to think. It's a lot of clothing brands gone, man. I never wore South Pole. I'd rather smoke crack than wear South Pole. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. There's absolutely no way that I would have spent my hard-earned money on no goddamn South Pole. Never wore no Lot 29 because I was like, I could buy Iceberg instead. I ain't really buy Echo outside of, there was an Incredible Hulk t-shirt that had the comic book on it. You know what I'm saying? And Captain America. That wasn't my, like, I ain't buy all the nigga stuff, man. I told you what I wore, man. I wore a polo, iceberg, and jersey. You know what I'm saying? Nautica here and there, but yeah, I wore a polo, bro. I ain't buy all the nigga stuff, man. A lot of them nigga shirts were hideous. You know what I'm talking about? Just absolutely hideous. You know what I'm saying? I could do the jeans, but them shirts were hideous, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them shirts were just dastardly, just terrible. I'm talking about just repugnant. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, no. You know what I'm saying? I had some Anichi jeans. I had, you know what I'm saying? Man, I'm very, 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 nah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them shirts were ugly as hell, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm just ugly as hell. Go ahead. In my opinion, that's just me.
Testimonies. Marduria, that is a testifying. The office committed to the prophets of testifying concerning future events.
Now, what you think they testifying of? Well, we know the law and the prophets would tell John now the kingdom of heaven is preached. Let's do us a favor. Let's go to Revelation 14:1. I know we started looking at some of them seals. We need to talk about the men on them horses ain't a man. Lord willing, we'll do that in a moment.
Saying, I looked and behold, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion with him 144,000, having his Abba's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from Shamim as a voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder.
Down to verse 4 or 6. We need to read all that. I never wore LRG either, but I think, and what's the other one? I never wore academics either.
Say, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb wheresoever he go. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Elohim into the land. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of Elohim.
We went to verse 6, verse 8.
And I saw another Malachim flying in the midst of Shamim, having the everlasting gospel.
Having the who?
The everlasting gospel.
He's got a everlasting tidings
to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people.
Go ahead.
Saying with a loud voice, Fear Elohim, give esteem to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made Shamahim and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. There followed another Malachim saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine.
Paul. Now John 13:20 says what? You know what it say? I'm trying to think. Did have some Maurice Malone jeans. That doggone Willie Esco jump was trash. You know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all don't know what it is. It was trash. Had some Wu Wear jeans. No Wu Wear shirts, though. I think I might have one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What'd you say? Oh yeah, old Mo jeans. Yeah, I mean, I had Rockaware jeans, but I didn't wear them shirts. Them shirts were terrible. You say you remember people wearing Iceberg and Jabot and Echo and Fat Form and South Pole. Yeah. Pele leather jackets are top quality. I never wore no Coochie. I wasn't no thing in Florida in the 90s. It was up north with them sweaters. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't no thing. Now. It did. It came down later. That's why I say in the 90s. That wasn't a thing in the 90s. Good. The 90s, man.
Did you want me to read John 13:20?
Yeah.
Say, truly, I say unto you, he that received whomsoever I send, received me.
So if that Malachim with the everlasting gospel, who son him then? Read Revelation 1:14 just in case they weren't aware.
His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword. His countenance was as the sun shining in strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that lived and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen, and have the keys of hell and of death. Write the things which you have seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. The mystery of the 7 stars which you saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the Malachim, are the 7 assemblies, and the 7 candlesticks which you saw are the 7 assemblies.
So I'm only mentioning that because if these 7 Malachim are over the 7 assemblies, and he's sending these Malachim to give a message, then you know he sent that Malachim in Revelation 14 also. And read John 15 and 13 so you can see who they testifying of. Shoot, we can read it in Revelation 22 also.
Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
Oh, I told you 15 and 13. It's 15 and 26. I'm sorry.
But when the comforters come, whom I will send unto you from the Abba, even the Ruach of truth, which shall proceed from the Abba, he shall testify of me.
He'll do what?
Testify of me.
He'll do what?
Testify of me.
So the 2 witnesses, guess what they doing?
Testify of me.
Hold on. Revelation 22. Now, and we referencing this here because of 22 and 9, 22 and 8. We're referencing this because of what's translated from Isaiah 8 and 20. Did we have race car jackets with the? Yeah, they did wear that race car shoe. Them boys was around here painting the whole cars after NASCARs down here, man, in the early 2000s. You talking about 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Yeah, they definitely wore them race car jackets. Never bought one. You know what I'm saying? I didn't jump on that wave either. Yeah, I'm pretty much wave proof when it comes to that. I don't necessarily be, oh, this is what everybody's doing, I'm finna go do it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to like it. The race car jackets were cool. Wasn't my aesthetic. Go ahead. You found you one in there, huh? Cotton candy.
Said I, John, saw these things and heard them, and when I heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the Malachim, which showed me these things. Then said he unto me, see, you do it not, for I'm your fellow servant, and of your brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book, worship Elohim.
Nah, he said what did he say he was?
He said, I'm your fellow servant, and of your brethren the prophets.
Of your brethren the who?
The prophets.
Read now come over here and read Revelation 19 and 9 on general principle.
He said unto me, right Baruch are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, these are the true sayings of Elohim. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see, you do it not.
I am your
fellow servant
and of your
brethren.
Pause, because he said of your brethren of the who? The prophets in 22, right? He said that have the what?
The testimony of Yahushua.
Worship who?
Elohim.
For the testimony?
Yahushua is the royal prophecy.
Now, all we doing is establishing. Now you can see the things that the 2 witnesses would be testifying of. Because you know what they would be testifying of? His return. And the dominion and rule that would come along with that. So if you got a man in Daniel 11 who's saying that he gonna rule, then of course those tidings are going to trouble him, if you would. Taking that into account also, again, what we were discussing with when you look at Pharaoh and Moses bearing witness against him, because you telling you that somebody else is coming to rule over this people who you have subjugated. Or when you look at Jezebel, if you would, who is seeking to eliminate all the prophets of Yahuwah, persecuting them, if you would. Revelation 12 and 14, read that if you would, sir. And you can see the same framework of behavior here also.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times, and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, and he might cause her to be carried away with the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the serpent cast out of his mouth. And the serpent was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Now, this is the same thing that Jezebel did. She went to make war with the prophets of Yahuwah. See, remember, because Obadiah said, you don't know about me hiding the prophets 50 by caves? Because Jezebel was killing them. You know what I'm talking about? So nevertheless, let's return to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We about to roll on up out of here anyway. My God, today. Go ahead, sir.
Say, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord, Yahushua Mashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that you be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled.
Oh, no, you didn't read all that. You get straight to the point. Verse 4. Well, you can make it 3.
Say, let no man deceive you by any means, for the day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Pause. Falling away is apostasy. Give him apostasy by definition, just in case anybody forgot.
Apostasia, that is a falling away, defection, apostasy, falling away, forsake.
Now that's people forsaking
from truth.
That's people for we read in the Old Testament, if you can recall, with people performing an apostasy, turning away from God. Because that's when the man of sin will be revealed. Now, if we take because we can't speak for the rest of the world, but if we take a look at the snapshot more specifically with quote unquote Negroid, so-called black folks, niggas, if you will, in the United States of America, you see a lot of people want to make the falling away be about people who in the word. But if you just look at our people as a totality, they fallen away from the word rapidly. You understand? It's a lot of people who, oh no, I don't believe in none of that. It's just the same thing a dude, I think it was a white dude, black dude tried to jump on a cape for him, where people steady want to put up there, y'all got a problem with the Epstein files, but Mary was 14. And I'm like, bro, you don't have no historical information whatsoever that Mary was 14 years old. What you have is conjecture, speculation, and insinuation. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have anything concrete that this woman was 14 years old. But the reason why they people do that is they're juxtaposing Jewish tradition, which is the difference. You know what I'm talking about? The Jewish tradition. Because those people traditions and the actual Yahudim is two different things. You know what I'm talking about? Then when you've also have the reality of this, the culture of the people around them at the time. A lot of those people around them at the time married younger women. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that that was an Israelite custom. People are trying to tell you Joseph was 60-something years old and she was 14. You know what I'm saying? And people don't realize this is the type of stuff that they do to try to get to discredit the word to make you not fool with it. But you don't read nowhere where this was no 14-year-old girl. And you know how you know this wasn't no 14-year-old girl? Because no father in that time period would just send his daughter off like that. Now, we was having this conversation yesterday, and this is a true story because the question was posed, is there certain things you read in the Bible and you was like, oh, this is wild? And one of the instances that was brought up was in Sodom and Gomorrah and in the book of Judges, when the men came beating on the door looking for booty hole, and they sent them women out there. Because dude, like, I wouldn't send my daughters out there. And I'm like, I hear you. I say, but you know, you have to be real careful about what you said you would or wouldn't do in a particular time period in a cultural context of which you ain't never lived. Because I'm like, shoot, I'm going to tell you like the Lord said, oh, we wouldn't have been with our fathers and killed in the prophets. Shoot, you the ones who the offspring of them niggas who did it. So a lot of people like, I wouldn't send my daughter out there. If you knew the men were coming for your booty hole, you probably would have sent them right on out there. Because the reality of the situation is, yeah, indeed, no law enforcement. No. The reality of the situation is you don't know what you would have done because you weren't there in that time period. And the only thing you can hope is you would have the mind that you have now to say that that's what you would do, but you don't know. So there ain't even no way for you to say what you would have done. Because you speaking about what you would have done in 2026. You ain't speaking about what you would have done in 1st century BCE or 4000 BCE. You know what I'm talking about? You don't know what you would have done. You don't know what you would have done. You won't know if you was Lot, you would have known what you would have done. If you was the man and the priest, you don't know what you would have done. Because you ain't never been in no situation where there was no grown men surrounding your house beating on the door talking about, I want your butt. You know what I'm talking about? Then he was like, man, and then they was angels. I say, bro, them men didn't know them was angels, bro. You're speaking that from the context of somebody who's reading it and not the person who was there in the moment. Man, a lot of them ain't know them was angels, bro. They didn't know that. They were like, man, I done sent them angels right on out there. Okay. That's what you said you would have did. I don't know what I would have did. I ain't never been in that situation or circumstance to say. But we do know that culturally it would have been looked at, hey man, before you violate my sphincter, here's a woman in here, do that. And I don't say that you have to agree with them doing that. See, that's what the point is, where people look at it is this not something that God sanctioned? These are decisions that these men made. You don't have to agree with them. If you felt like, man, they was wrong for sending their daughter out there, that's your right to say that. You know what I'm saying? Because this ain't something like God told them, send your daughter out there. You know what I'm talking about? Yahuwah didn't tell them to send their daughter out there. So that's not something, because if you say you don't agree with it, that you laying that at Yahuwah's feet. That's a decision that those flesh and blood men made. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you agree with it, you agree with it. If you don't, you don't.
They was looking at, hey, before you commit this abomination,
hey man, hey, do this here. And guess what? Them ones in the book of Judges say, hey man, don't send her out here. We won't butt. We won't butt. I told him, I said, but that's got to be the craziest thing in the world, to be up in the house and you got grown men beating on the door. Send them men out here so we could know them. Nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, before that even set in your brain, sir, you're knocking on my door asking to have relations with a man. Sir, are you okay? What's going on with you? That's an unfathomable situation and circumstance to even be able to rationalize in your mind, because I think the pure shock would do you in and of itself. Because it said in Genesis with Lot, they surrounded the house. You know what I'm talking about? So can you imagine you in your house and you look out the window and it's a man out here to my butt, and it's a man over here and he doing the same thing? Open, we won't butt. Send the men out. Hold on, cuz, what is you on? You want what? You know what I'm saying? As I say, man, it's real easy for people to say what they would or wouldn't do in situations they ain't never been in. You know what I'm talking about? You can only say what you would hope you would do. Even in this modern time, there's certain situations and circumstances, man, you say, oh, that sounds like Colorado. Whoa, I don't know nothing about Colorado, brother. I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what it is, man, you don't know what you would or wouldn't do. Now, of course, there are some situations, depending on your conviction on certain things, you know what you would and wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? But with a lot of things, man, you ain't gonna really know till you face that situation. There's a lot of people be like, boy, I'll shoot a nigga, I'll do this, that, there, and the third. But you ain't never been in a position to have to shoot somebody. And so a lot of people freeze. And I ain't gonna say they necessarily freeze out of cowardice. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a situation you ain't never been in. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't never been in a situation where you be like, I might have to take somebody's life tonight. You pause, you think about that. That's not no light decision. When I say pause and think about it, I ain't talking about you take 20 minutes to think about it. But you know what I'm saying? That if you really ain't no killer like that, you really running in your brain the ramifications about what it is. And this could be in self-defense. Now, I ain't talking about no crazy stuff, like the ramifications about what it is you about to do. Because I'm telling you, man, if you ain't never seen what lead do to flesh, some people just be talking. You know what I'm saying? I told you, boy, I seen a nigga get shot right in my face, boy. I was like, my God, today. You know what I'm talking about? Like it wasn't no junk, like you traumatized because the nigga didn't die. He got shot in the shoulder. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell you that before. But it's like, damn, you seen that. Like you seen what the bullet do to flesh. You know what I'm talking about? Then you got to think about it. I tell you, man, that little nigga didn't hesitate. And I told you, he went to kill him, boy, that gun jam. You know what I'm saying? I said, I thank the Lord. And I'm saying that in regards to one, that the nigga lived, and two, that I didn't witness a homicide. Because who knows what they would see. It's two things that it would have did, in my opinion. Simply because I ain't have no thoughts, feelings, or concern about watching them get shot in the first place. Because I knew both of them, and I was cool with both of them. You know what I'm talking about? But it's the aspect of that junk either gonna do something to your brain or it's not. And then if it doesn't, then you have to sit back and wonder, why did that not do nothing to your brain? The way you could see that and you just walked away like, damn, that's messed up, and you could continue about your life. Because some niggas do that. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that they're a stone cold killer per se. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely means that you've been desensitized to something to a certain extent because it had no effect on you. Or at least visible at the time. He said those freaking folks out here in Colorado, I can't even argue with that. Well, what the hell going on in Colorado? I don't even want to know. I retract that statement. I don't even want to know. I'm sorry I even asked. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to know. Because like I say, man, I remember when Kenzo got. See, it's a lot of stuff. Like I know I'd be like, I'm glad I came up after the fact because I ain't want that junk in my brain. You know what I'm saying? I came up after the fact. The big homie got killed in Justina. You know what I'm saying? Dude ran up on him, gunned him down, cause had about 1/8 of a brick on him, about 5-6 racks or so in his pocket. They ain't take none. You know what I'm saying? He said they off the chain, we'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen it was after it was over. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen after it was over, y'all have mercy on her soul when Kim got shot in her vagina. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't see that when that happened. I could say that was probably the most blood I ever seen in one place in my entire life. You know what I'm talking about? But like, cause this nigga just knocked on the door. Pop, pop, pop. She opened the door. Wow, with a 4.5. You imagine getting shot in your loins with a 4.5? But you know what a 4.5 will do to you? My God, today. You see what I'm saying? Come on, say, well, we'll read verse 4 one more time, man. We're going to run this stuff with the mystery of iniquity, man, and we'll deal with that then. I've been matched with Walmart.
Say, who oppose and exalt himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he is Elohim, sit in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Remember you not, when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now you know with withhold that he might be revealed in his time.
In his time.
The mystery of iniquity do already work. Only he who now will let until he be taken out of the way.
Out of the way.
Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the rock of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even with whose comings after the working of Hashatan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
All right, so we'll go back and tell them what mystery of iniquity means, man.
Mystery is Musterion, that is a hidden thing, secret, a mystery.
He said they tumblers hit you like 22 with more power. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, bro.
So you got generally mysteries, religious secrets, confided only to the initiated and not to ordinary mortals, a hidden or secret thing, not obvious to the understanding, a hidden purpose or counsel.
Go ahead.
And then iniquity is anomia, that is the condition of without law, whether being ignorant of it or because of violating it. Contempt and violation of the law, iniquity, wickedness.
Listen, this is contempt and violation of the law. You got contempt for this. So when you look at the secret hidden counsel of contempt for the word, that's what we're looking at. That's what we have to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? This is what, again, we talked about it a little bit more on Wednesday. This is what the beast had. You know what I'm saying? Has, I should say. I want you to read Revelation 13:8 on general principle. This is what the beast has. This is what he's trying to communicate to the people. This is what makes the testimony so strong. So then when we look at, because Isaiah 4 is more so dealing with the coming of the Lord, with purging the iniquity out of the land in one day. Because remember, the beast will be in the land. The man of sin, the son of perdition, going to be in the land, causing all manner of idolatry and defilement in the land. And it's only one person, Yahushua HaMashiach, who can get that up out of there. That's why we read in Isaiah 4 what it said. He said with judgment and with burning. You know what I'm talking about? Because you got to burn that up. Gotta burn that up. Go ahead, Sybil.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into
any
captivity
man have an ear, let him hear.
Shall go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
That's good. Do you read what say he blasphemed in heaven? What that verse that was? That's what I want. I didn't even recall.
That was verse 6.
Revelation 13:6.
Saying he opened his mouth and blasphemed against Elohim, to blaspheme.
The blaspheme against who?
Elohim.
And who else?
To blaspheme his name and his tabernacle.
His name and his what?
And his tabernacle.
And what else?
And them that dwell in Shamaim.
And what else?
It was given unto him to make war with
now,
the
see,
saints.
now pause. Now I want you to give them the definition of blaspheme.
Blasphemeo, to speak reproachfully, to rail at, revile, to calumniate.
David is going to kill Goliath again. Goliath being the beast. David and Goliath is a little different than the beast because Goliath was a warrior representative of whoever was the head of the Philistines and Dagon. You know what I'm saying? Goliath himself wasn't the head dude. You know what I'm saying? Goliath was a foot soldier. You know what I'm talking about? What's that definition for blasphemy? One more time.
You got to speak reproachfully, rail at, revile, to calumniate, blaspheme, to be evil spoken of.
To evil speak of. So why is this man evil speaking of this man? It's the same token why he's troubled by the 2 witnesses because they're testifying against him. Remember, said the other beast fly out, looked like a lamb, talking like a serpent. You know what I'm saying? See, again, if he's looking like a lamb and talking like a serpent, what that take us back to? Don't be no marvel that his ministers be changed into angels of light, but he ain't no angel of light. Read that in verse 11, man. This is Revelation 13:11.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb.
2 horns like a serpent. But spake as a who?
As a serpent.
Go to 2 Corinthians 11:13 one more time. That's another representation of that. Because it said he looked like a lamb, didn't he? Mm-hmm. But he spake like a who?
A serpent.
And the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. And what is the serpent doing? He's working the mystery of the iniquity, or the purpose of the hidden counsel of those who have contempt for the word and violate it. You know what I'm saying? When we look at Goliath, per se, he didn't have contempt for the word because he ain't know no word. He had contempt for the people. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we look at Serentrab, he had contempt for Yahuwah himself. You know what I'm saying? Now, we ain't talked about that in a while, but Serentrab is a more closer look at somebody who would be a testimony of the beast than Goliath would, because Goliath just was a big old dummy, for lack of a better term. I don't know if he was a dummy, but, you know, a lot of people consider people to be of extraordinary size to be extraordinary stupid. You know what I'm saying? But that's not always the case. Because look at Shaq. He might play the goofball role, but that man far from stupid. You know what I'm saying? Absalom is a testimony of the beast. It's for stealing the hearts and minds of the people. Oh, yeah, I just seen you put that. Yeah, he's a testimony of the beast by trying to steal the hearts and minds of the people. Serentrab, Absalom. Shoot, that's another one. It's all going to, depend on the particular narrative at the time. It's one in Judges. Let me find that one in Judges, man, because it's been a while since we talked about some of this stuff in depthly. Anyway, come over here to Judges 9 for me, Sydney. I think that's what I want. Oh yeah, it is. Read verse 44.
And Abimelech and the company that was with him rushed forward instead of the entering of the gate of the city, and the 2 other companies ran upon all the people that were in the
Haman is a testimony of the beast also.
And slew them. And Abimelech fought against the city all that day, and he took the city and slew the people that was therein, and beat down the city and sowed it with salt. And when all the men of the tower of Shechem heard that, they entered into a hold of the house of the Elohim of the god Berith. And it was told Abimelech that all the men of the tower of Shechem were gathered together.
What he do?
And Abimelech got him up to Mount Zalman, and he and all the people that were with him. And Abimelech took an axe in his hand and cut down a bow from the trees and took it and laid it on his shoulder.
He did what with it?
Laid it on his shoulder.
What'd he do?
And said unto the people that were with him, "What you have seen me do, make haste and do as I have done."
Read that verse again. You see how you run up on some testimony regularly. Look at what he said, man. What did Abimelech get up to Mount Simon and do?
He and all the people that were with him.
And he took a what?
An axe in his hand.
And he cut down a what?
A bow from the trees.
And did what to it?
Laid it on his shoulder.
And then he told the people what?
What you have seen me do, make haste and do as I have
take
done.
up your stake and follow me. You know what I'm saying? He that take up his stake. Read Luke 9:23 because I haven't said it backwards or how I want to say it.
And he said to them all, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake daily and follow me."
Now read verse 49. Look at what the people did. He said he cut the tree out down, put it on the shoulder, right? Go ahead with it.
Saying all the people likewise cut down every man his bow and followed Abimelech and put them to the hold and set the hold on fire upon them. So that all the men of the tower of Shechem died also, about 1,000 men and women. Then went Abimelech to the Bez and encamped against the Bez and took it. But there was a strong tower within the city. And there fled.
You see in verse 49 how them all the men took that bow and put it on their shoulder and followed them, didn't they? Go ahead.
So, but there was a strong tower within the city. There fled all the men and women and all they of the city and shut it to them and gat them up to the top of the tower. And Abimelech came unto the tower and fought against it and went hard unto the door of the tower to burn it with fire.
And what happened?
A certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head and all to break his skull. Then he called hastily unto the young man, his armor bearer, and said unto him, "Draw your sword and slay me, that men say not of me a woman slew me." And this young man thrust him through and he died.
He said he didn't want to die. Talking about a woman killed him. Ain't that son? Hold on, there's one more passage out of this here I need, man. I gotta remember where it's at. Hold on. But yeah, Abimelech, because where it's at, man? Where it's at? I can hear it in my brain. We ain't looked at it in a while. Come over here and read verse 22.
When Abimelech had reigned 3 years over Yasharal, then Elohim sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem. And the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech. The cruelty done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which slew them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in killing of his brethren. And the men of Shechem set liars and wait for him in the top of the mountains.
Oh, that's good. Let me find the verse what I want, man. Yeah, that's because Abimelech was on some other type of time. I'm in chapter over. Come to chapter 8. That's what it was. Ah, there it is. I'm gonna end with this one here, man. We're gonna come back. God willing tomorrow. 8 and 11. Judges 8 and 11.
And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwell in the tents on the east of Nabah and Jogbehah and smote the host, for the host was secured. And when Zabah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them and took 2 kings of Midian, Zabah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the host. And Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from the battle before the sun was up.
What'd he do?
And caught a young man of the men of Succoth.
What'd he do?
Inquired of him, and he described unto him the princes of Succoth and the elders thereof.
And he what happened?
17 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth and said, Behold, Zabah and Zalmunna, whom you did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zabah and Zalmunna now in your hand, that we should give bread unto your men that are weary? He took the elders of the city and thorns of the wilderness and briars, and with them he taught the men of
He said he took the who of the city?
The elders of the city.
And with thorns and what?
Of the wilderness and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth.
See, now we're going to sit back and look at that one there, man, when you look at some of the stuff that take us back to what's in Daniel 11. But when you say that, man, remember what Paul said? There was a thorn in my side that buffeted me. He said them thorns and briars he used to teach the men of the booths or of the house. And he beat down what?
The Tower of Hanul and slew the men of the city.
Then he said unto who?
Zaban Zalmunna.
What manner of men
were they whom you slew at Tabor?
And they answered,
as you are, so were they.
Each one resembled
the children of a king.
See, that's what the one I refer. When you sit back and you look at what they were doing, they slew everybody who resembled the son of a king. Well, that's what the beast and them gonna be coming to do. Now, of course, this is different than for the Gideon. You know what I'm saying? Running up on these doggone strangers here. But nevertheless, finish it on out, man. And he said they were my brethren. This is verse 19.
He said they were my brethren, even the sons of my mother, as Yahuwah lived.
If you had saved them alive,
I would not slay you.
He said under
Jether, his firstborn,
up
and slay them.
But the youth
drew not his sword,
for he feared,
because he was yet a youth.
Then Zabah
and Zalmunna said,
rise you
and fall upon us,
for as the man
is, so is his strength.
And Gideon
And
arose.
slew Zabah and Zalmunna and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks.
Man, look, there's a lot of stuff, man, we ain't dealt with in a long time. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. And bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? But prayerfully, y'all caught that with the, you know what I'm saying? Taking away the iniquity in the land in one day. And some other stuff we sit back and look at. But just always remember to look at the context of the passage that we in. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a verse or two up, verse or two down. You know what I'm talking about? And then that way we can be able to put together what we want to put together to get to where it is that we want to get to. You know, the dates already is on the community tab in the applicable group chat, so on and so forth. And those who not on those particular things, I think I done already sent them to you. So yeah. There's that. So what this is, so what? Purim will be in a couple weeks. Just know when it comes to that, that's not a Sabbath explicitly to where, hey, you can't work. So don't be tripping on that. You know, preferably if you can rest on those days, rest on them. You know what I'm talking about? But if you peace, Brother Ernest, man, peace, Brother Joseph, man, you Baruch. But if you're not able to, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Because there's a lot of brews that don't celebrate Purim anyway. Some people be like, it's not in Leviticus 23, so they're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really trip if people don't do it. You know, a lot of people be offended at people that don't do what they're doing. And I never really understood that thought process. Just like it's a lot of people who celebrate Hanukkah. We don't. You know what I'm saying? When I say we don't, meaning as a collective, I wouldn't ridicule anybody if they decided to do it individually. You know what I'm talking about? But as a collective, we don't. Because, like we talking about, for a lot of people, justification for that is John 10. But I don't believe that feast of dedication in John 10 is the feast of dedication that they are referencing in Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? And there's some other stuff with Hanukkah just kind of weird to me, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't look at nobody and be like, you wicked as hell for celebrating Hanukkah. That's weird. And then you have some people who, amen, Brother Marcus, love you too, man. Then you got some people who, they ain't celebrating nothing that ain't in Leviticus 23. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing Purim or Hanukkah. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, is what it is. But again, I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, Yah willing, man. We'll be back at it on tomorrow, man. Yeah, trip.